Greetings and happy Halloween season, Flesh Wound horror freaks. I am Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Todd.
Good evening.
And Michael. Well, we got two Michaels tonight, as you see in the back. And Mike Kruger.
Don't ever call me by my formal name, you fuck.
And
I
to
was
be
calling
fair,
that Michael. By
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
and to be fair, that's H2O shitty Michael. So sorry, Bugs.
Oh.
He's
At
not
least
here
you
to
didn't
defend me.
dig out Cuck Michael out of that cave. Although I feel like that I might, out of the irony, I would buy Cave Michael and put it behind me just because it would be fun.
That's just because you'd want to beat it up. Because you're
There's
like,
nothing
see, I
else.
could beat up Michael Myers too.
It's like Ric Flair at the end of that HBK match. It's just like Bloom just super kicks him. Just
I'm sorry.
dead.
I love you.
He
Super
should
kick-
be, son.
You know,
Super kicks
here's
him,
the
and then
thing.
A24 is just like there with open arms to grab him.
Catches
funny
him
thing is-
before his head hits the
Yeah.
mat.
The funny thing is, I mean, how as maddened as it makes Dan in the community, y'all still don't get. Like my cousin asked me yesterday, "Are we getting a new Halloween movie this year?" General audiences don't give a shit. They just
Oh,
want
no,
Michael
for
Myers.
sure. Yeah. No, I get that.
And
But-
I was like, no, that it was ends. You got another year or two.
No, it was funny when I went to the haunted house that I went to last Saturday. One of the workers, because me and my girlfriend were both wearing Michael Myers shirts, and he was like, "Oh, did you guys like the new one?" I was like, "No, I thought it was fucking terrible." And he's like, "Really, dog? I liked it."
I'm like, I love it.
I'm like, "No, dude, I thought that movie was absolute dog shit." But hopefully, A24 fixes it.
yes. So, yeah, man, this is, I think, maybe our most stacked episode of 2023.
Yeah, we got a lot of shit tonight.
It's October. I mean,
Yeah.
we had.
Well,
at least-
and for like the first time in a while, I've only missed one movie.
I
so-
know. And then we had a show yesterday for Visual Vengeance. We had a couple SOV movies.
Yeah, didn't you guys review what the fuck is it? Something Gator?
Replicator and
Replicator.
Replicator,
Abomination. You like the creature in that one.
An Abomination or Replicator?
In
Abomination.
Yeah.
Okay, because I saw
the
the
other
trailer.
one, not so much.
I saw the trailer for Replicator. And I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking watching this shit.
Yeah, I kind of figured that, Mike. Do we want to do our sad news, Dan?
Oh,
Oh, yes. Jeff Burr passed away. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Very nice man. I know a lot of people, a lot of you out there. Slaughterport, I know you met him not too long ago at a convention. Really cool guy. Very sad to hear that. Yeah, I was sad to hear it. He was really cool. I met him forever ago. It was a long time ago. And I always thought he was really, really cool. He did a film called Straight into Darkness that a lot of people sleep on. It's really a war movie, but it's got these sort of horror, supernatural overtones, I would say. If you want to watch a Jeff Burr movie that you maybe haven't seen, go watch Straight into Darkness. It's quite good. So yeah.
If we're gonna throw out some of the not the well, I mean all the sequels he did: Stepfather 2, Puppet Masters, Pumpkinhead, obviously.
2?
Yeah. Obviously,
Pumpkinhead
Leatherface.
2. I don't know
Dude,
about
fuck
that.
off.
I
That
love
movie's
Pumpkinhead
fun.
too. It's
Yeah,
fucking
that
better
movie's-
than the first one, in my opinion. I don't like.
I wouldn't go as that.
I don't like the first one.
I wouldn't
Oh
go.
my God,
There's a lot of people actually that don't care for the first Pumpkinhead, and I've seen more of that. But
I
like,
even upgraded it today.
Yeah, I couldn't pull the trigger on it. It's one I'm considering, but I did buy the Puppet Master or Pumpkinhead 2 digital today because it was 3 for $5. So
I have Pumpkinhead 2 on Blu-ray, and I rewatched. I think it was last year. I watched the first and second, and I used to not like Pumpkinhead 2 at all. But my last rewatch, I thought that movie was fun as fuck. So
It-
the rest, I mean, compared to the rest of the Pumpkinhead movies, I mean, 1 and 2 are like fucking holy grails, and then the rest are just like sci-fi garbage.
I don't hate the sequels. Yeah, I just think the first one could be done in a short. I mean, we're not going full Pumpkinhead review, but I mean, like, I do love Pumpkinhead too. It's very like of its time. It's like era, and it is just fun. It's got like so many sitcom stars like Charles in Charge people, Amy Dolan's. But the one I was going to say that is one that I would recommend more of his deep cut stuff versus his main horror stuff, and that's Eddie Presley is one I really love. Tempe put out the DVD a few years ago. It hasn't made an upgrade yet, but that's one I do really enjoy. It's Dwayne Whitaker, most famously from Pulp Fiction, is our Eddie Presley. It's worth checking out. He's got a really good filmography. Got a lot of like sequels that he got in the mix on, which are all really entertaining in my opinion.
It's funny how directors just kind of fall into that sequel thing, because there's a lot of guys, like, especially in the horror genre, that you'll like look at their filmography and you'll be like, they did like 3 sequels to horror movies. What the fuck is going on here?
He was the sequel guy for a minute.
Yeah.
A Night
if Carpenter doesn't want it, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Night of the Scarecrow is another one, not to be confused with Dark Night of the Scarecrow, but
Night of the Scarecrow is good. I like Night of the Scarecrow. Yeah, that's I think that might be getting an upgrade soon. I could be wrong on that, but I know Olive put out the Blu-ray. R.I.P. Olive as well, but I think that might be getting another release. Could be wrong, but I thought I heard that. I know the Boogans is getting a 4K, and I love the Boogans. So if you missed those Olive releases, which are probably out of print, going out of print now that they're gone. So
yeah.
So So you guys done any cool Halloween shit? I know Kruger, you've been at a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I did a haunt this past Saturday, and it was a lot of fun. We had it was like 3 different haunts. One was like a graveyard setting, and while like it wasn't really that scary, they had this really cool motherfucker in like full gargoyle costume that like you thought he was just like a statue, and then he got up and like started like crawling towards you, which was really cool. And then second one was a like a slaughterhouse type thing, bunch of people with chainsaws and shit. That was dope. But my favorite was they had a clown haunt where you put 3D glasses on and everything like popped out at you, and they put a bunch of 3D paint all over the haunt, and that was really cool. Had a giant animatronic snake clown, which was really sick. Probably sounds cooler than it was. It was just a clown with a bunch of fucking paint, or a snake with a bunch of clown paint all over it. But it was like the big thing that jumped out at you like right at the end of the haunt, which was cool. So overall, Slaughterhouse in Tucson, I would say it gets my stamp of approval. It was pretty cheap to get in. I think it was like $25 a person. So
that's not bad.
And the thing that cracked me up about that haunt is they had this motherfucker, this clown, all in satanic paint and like all Sataned out, having people give him dollars to staple him with. And I was just like, man, fucking this motherfucker. Like, I need to just go get a job here next year.
You should have just took the money staple gun and did it yourself.
Yeah.
That would,
you know what? That would have been fucking
that would have been awesome.
funny. That would have been funny. I wish I would have
just stare them back and forth. You're just passing it back and forth. Whoever.
Well, so he had this thing where like you give him money and he'll staple it to himself, and then he also had those suspension hooks in his back, and so like he was like leaning forward and stuff. I'm like, dude, fuck it, I'll do this shit for free, motherfucker. Like I need to work here next year.
Right, you should try. I see Daily Ghost asking where's Pugs at. Unfortunately, with the world climate, we thought it was best he stay at home today.
Okay,
fair enough.
So he is safe at home, not
he is safe at home. Actually, I think he's at a concert.
Oh,
yeah,
I
can't remember which.
Yeah, isn't he seeing? I think he's seeing Incubus tonight.
He'll tell us next week. Yeah. I know. I even debuted Michael, and he wasn't even here to see him. His H2O.
I was gonna say.
But whatever. It's October. I had to get him out. So
Yeah, you had him tucked somewhere. I don't think I've.
yeah, he's in the garage. There's a spot in the garage, but my cousin's car was in the way, so he had to move it.
We have this giant witch animatronic. When I say giant, I mean it's as big as they make them, basically. And I have no idea how we're going to store it. I think we're going to have to disassemble it because if it's going in the garage, it's going to have to be tilted and it's
just put him in the backyard the rest of the year.
It's animatronic. It's not supposed to be outside. I don't think.
Then where's it goes in the house?
Well, we have it in the house, and it goes like almost up to the ceiling, which is a high ceiling. Like it's
no
really
Leatherface
really big.
behind me. I'm just pointing that out.
I know that's kind of weak, Todd. You need to get one.
I cannot justify spending that much money on an animatronic when my kid's in the middle of a book-a-thon and everything else. Like, sorry, kid, fuck the reading.
Fair enough.
Readings for pussies. Let's get Leatherface. All right.
It's so much better than the other one too.
Yeah.
So much. What was the Halloween? Spirit Halloween one? Yeah, it's so much better than that one.
I mean that's my problem. It's just like it's a little too much. Like you start going north of like 200.
See, that's the thing. And here's something that would never happen, Dave. I got him for I want to say under $100.
Well, that's why you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Because it was the first year they really did them. It was him. Yeah. They had Hellraiser, Bloodline, Hellraiser 4, and then I can't remember what the other one was. It was another dimension.
Was it Spirit?
Yes, I got them at Spirit, but they weren't. I don't know if they were.
Was it remake Freddy? Because I think I know exactly.
That was the second year. I remember the remake. Wait, was the remake Freddy the first year, and that's why?
No, it was the first year.
Okay, then there you go. And those sold out, but every time I went, it would be lower and lower. Like no one was buying because it was H2O.
Well, if you go to Spirit the day after and then the second day after Halloween, I mean, the day after, back in the day, they switched it up now, which pisses me the fuck off. But back in the day, you go to Spirit the day after Halloween, everything's 50% off. Yeah. You go 2 days after, it's 75% off.
At which point everything's gone.
I think that's when I
not necessarily, dude.
75.
Yeah, it's like some of those animatronics and stuff would still be there. I remember I kicked myself in the ass so fucking hard because I didn't pick up the Freddy remake animatronic and I didn't pick up the Hellraiser one.
Oh, and that's the one I wanted.
And they were both there that year on the 75% off day.
See, I went back to get the Hellraiser one, but he was gone. All they had was H2O because no one wants
I'd give anything to have the Hellraiser one, even Bloodline. I don't care. I mean, that would have been really cool, but I didn't do it.
And then they stopped keeping them in store for a couple years, and I remember it was annoying because they did a Captain Spaulding one. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the years they didn't do them in store. So I was like, how am I getting it half off?
Yeah.
But to be fair, like all those now, like I don't expect Leatherface to be there when all this stuff gets cleared.
Right now, out of all the animatronics, my favorite one, and I think it's a new one, is the Mars Attacks one. It looks
that does look
so really cool. Fucking cool.
I was tempted because it was small enough. I'm like, I can keep that up year round because I'm not going to try and store.
There's no animatronic buying in my future until I get a fucking house because I can't. My fucking apartment is already crammed with enough shit as it is. But the Mars Attack. I actually saw it the other day because I had to go scouting out for Chucky costumes because me and my girl are doing Chucky and Tiffany this year.
Oh,
yeah. So stay tuned for that.
You have to have that on the show, Kruger.
On the show, well, I'll try, motherfucker. I mean,
Chucky Kruger's got to be on the show at some point.
Well, we'll see. I'm dressing up. I'm dressing up the fucking 28th because I have to wrestle the fucking 31st. So maybe we can make it happen.
We'll dress up here on we always say we'll do it every year on the Wednesday before.
3 faces of Kruger. You can be Chucky Kruger. Debut it in a promotion.
I think Kruger's already has 3 faces.
I mean, I have me, I have Michael Kruger, and I have Casey Albright.
Oh, see, then you have 4 because I was including one more.
What was the other one?
Christmas Krueger.
Ah, you're right. I do have Christmas.
Oh, that's
Krueger.
true.
To be fair, I
Five
wasn't
faces
including
Krueger.
you, normal you. I was just doing gimmicks.
No, I'm telling you, at this point, with the way my wrestling career is going, I'm gonna fucking rebrand and turn into a clown or something.
All right. So, on that note, speaking of clowns, David Gordon Green has a new movie out, and it is Exorcist Believer. So this one, when two girls disappear in the woods and return 3 days later with no memory of what happened to them, the father of one girl seeks out Chris McNeil, who's been forever altered by what happened to her daughter Regan 50 years ago. All right, so
Even the synopsis sounds terrible.
So you guys want a surprise?
You hated it.
No, would that be a surprise?
Well, I think you're trying to fame us, so yes. So you didn't hate it. Is that the surprise?
Oh no, I hated it.
Okay.
Jesus fucked us again. Jesus fucked us again. I was favoring.
So see, yeah, good attempt, Dan.
Good way to sell, Tad. Way to sell.
Oh, I'm not selling for you. Get
You
the
just
fuck
did
out
the
of here.
Samoa Joe. I'm gonna turn my back and let you eat shit.
I'm not selling for Dan. You get the 911 treatment.
Now, all right. So first off, I'm gonna say this. This is the weirdest movie for people to fight over because it would be very easy to take out all the ties to The Exorcist. The Chris McNeil stuff, maybe 10 minutes, if that. It's not a major part of this particular story. You flip the demon, and you'd have just a possession flick that everybody would have forgotten about already. If you take out the Exorcist elements, nobody's going to be talking about this film. I venture to say a lot of people wouldn't even like it. There's a weird thing. There's a weird. Again, I'm not calling out anybody in particular.
What's the general consensus? I mean, besides like the
negative
community,
negative for sure, but there are people that I've heard from that. It's weird. They don't love it, but yet they get tribal about it. It's strange. It's like they almost acknowledge the mediocrity of the movie, but yet they fight over the movie.
If you
they go
haven't
after
figured
people
out the
that
internet,
don't like it.
If you haven't figured out the internet yet, Dan, that's just what happens.
Well, I understand that, but it's sort of weird. It's like, oh, people are just over the top in their hate for this movie, and it's like, no, this movie deserves it. This movie really deserves it. I can say one nice thing about it, though. The first act, roughly the missing kids portion of it, is not terrible. I mean, I'm like, okay, we'll see where this goes. The Port-au-Prince portion of it, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll be surprised, because I hated Kills and Ends so much that I thought, like, there's nowhere to go but up. And I guess I can say this isn't as relentlessly stupid as like Kills was for me. But this movie had so many issues. Number one, it's The Exorcist, and we spend like no time with the exorcists.
Well, look at Exorcist 2, though. I mean,
well, Exorcist 2 is another turd in a different way.
That is a goddamn classic, sir. You will not disrespect Exorcist 2.
That's not even bad in a fun way.
Oh my god, are you crazy?
Exorcist 2 is a fucking piece of shit. It has some good it has some interesting imagery, I get, but that movie's boring as shit. So is this one. But there's no
agree to disagree on Exorcist 2. I love that one.
All right, cool.
Even when I hated the first one, I love that one.
Well, you're weird. You didn't like the first one, so you're putting it out
too much
there.
Religious nonsense.
Well, then you certainly couldn't have liked this, but this movie, number one, the cloud battle. There's like this battle with this smoke at one point. It gets relentlessly stupid after the girls are found, and then it settles into more of just a generic exorcism stuff. Now, I know you hate religious horror, generally speaking.
I don't. It takes a lot for me to get over. Like I said, Exorcist, I didn't click for me till 10 years ago now, probably.
This one's weird though, because this is very much like I remember Nefarious, which is 100% a Christian propaganda film.
Oh,
I liked it,
absolutely.
but it was 100% trying to hit you with a message. This one certainly is too. The abortion stuff, people don't seem to be mad at it in this case, which is kind of also, I don't know, unusual to me.
People
But
don't know what to be mad at, so they focus on one thing.
There's a lot of things to be mad at here. The movie is just bland and boring as shit. Anybody that look, if you liked it, you liked it. That's fine. You would not be thinking about this. You would not be talking about this after about 2 weeks. And I'm being generous with that 2 weeks. You would just,
but I see that with every possession movie. What's the last one? Nefarious does stick with you though, but
Talk to Me, sir. Quite good. We've got
I'm sorry. I should say that, but that's not religious. That's what I mean.
Okay. Well, possession.
Religious possession
like
movie.
Exorcist. Like, yeah.
What the fuck was the found footage one that came out? That was halfway decent. It was about it was about the bullshit con guy, fucking pope or priest or pastor or whatever that fucking was lying about making or about doing exorcisms, and then he found a real one and it shook the shit out of him. Devil something. It was on Shudder. It was really good. Fucking Satan came out at the end. Devil's
Cleansing Hour?
No, Cleansing Hour. That shit was good.
Yeah, that one was. That's been a few years, but yeah, like I'm weird. Sometimes depends on my mood. Sometimes the religion will just be like, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to hear all this bullshit. And other times I'm fine with it.
Well, probably why you liked Pope's Exorcist, because it was just like drunk Pope coming.
Yeah, that's different. That's like it's got a little because I'm just loving fucking Russell Crowe in that.
Yeah. You like it stupid. You like Halloween Kills.
Yeah, like if Russell Crowe would have showed up in this son of a bitch,
don't fucking put in the little you like it stupid. You like Halloween Kills.
That's fine. I'm not.
I wish Dan could go one Blumhouse review without referencing it.
Yeah.
Back to this movie though. Just man, generic as fuck, man. Like just there was nothing. The actual tie-ins to the original movie, it was a nothing burger. I mean, Chris McNeil, Ellen Burstyn, I can't imagine that's going to satisfy anybody. I don't want to reveal, what they do at the end. Although it's strange because this is the start of a trilogy. Where I see
that
they
kind of already kind of lightened up on that.
Where I see sequels going with this are going to be even more lame, because I don't think these people can carry a movie anymore. I'm just being quite frank. Something has been said about the acting in this. Lamar Odom, the lead actor in this, I thought he was fine. I don't think it was some powerhouse performance. Like some people that seemed to like this movie thought he was fantastic. I thought he was a little dry, to be honest.
I think if you're a parent, you're going to connect to him more. I know Pugs was waiting to hear my opinion on this one.
Because maybe that's more the situation than the actor, though. Because I don't know. I was like expecting like some.
I'll get to that more when you finish, but I just wanted to throw that out there real quick.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, it's an exorcism movie where we don't know anything really or care one bit about the actual exorcists. We get nothing from them. It's also strange.
What do you mean? But like, okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna throw this out here right now.
Okay, let me finish the one thing though.
Okay,
this film is Christian myth, yet they're throwing in these other religious aspects that makes no sense for a Christian myth story. Where I was like, okay,
they're all fucking poppycock, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, but this is forced and it's stupid in a specifically Christian horror flick. Like I don't know. I was just like, it feels like
you're not even seeing it. That's the inclusion thing.
It's a checklist, and it's
it
like,
is 100%.
For no reason other than like, okay, we got it. This movie's a piece of shit. I don't understand anybody that
big surprise
to die on the cross for this film.
Yeah, I don't get that. I forgot the point I was going to throw out, and it was, god damn it. I'm trying to go back. in my brain. I don't remember. Maybe it'll come to me.
Well, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're gonna hate it no matter what because it's David Gordon Green." My answer to that is not true at all. I liked his comedies. I thought Your Highness,
Yeah,
stupid
but there's a
comedy.
big difference.
Pineapple Express, I like that too.
Yeah, but there's a big difference, man, between pulling off a good comedy and pulling off a good horror
Sure,
movie.
he can't
Especially considering horror is close to your heart. You know what I mean? Like, it's a way different animal.
I think he'll be fine if he's not tackling a franchise that
I like,
because he wants to try different stuff. That's the problem. The franchises do not want different stuff. Look at any of them. You can look at fucking Star Wars. You can look at Halloween. They want by the numbers over and over and over, which is funny because then when they get by the numbers over and over and over, they bitched we didn't try anything different. So it's kind of like you're fucked either way.
Which still has to be good, though. That's the thing. Everybody with ends for me, it's like, oh well, it's different. And it's like, yeah, okay, sure, it is very different. It's not good.
I see that's your opinion though, and I'm still saying 10 years it's going to change. 33. Right.
I get the opinion with ends, but with kills, like kills also does like a lot of people hate kills, and that channels something that
over two ends.
Yeah, well, it does, but like also with kills, like it gives you the bare bones slasher shit that you still want. And I think at the end of the day, with any of these franchise movies, you need some bit of the bare bones of what made that movie great inside your sequel and then expand upon it. And then just with ends, it's so different that it's very jarring to the viewer, especially after the first two movies where, you had Michael in the first movie, it's more reserved, but it's Michael going and killing everybody still. And he's in Haddonfield. He's doing his thing. And then the second one, it gets a little dumber with like the subplot, but you still have Michael around fucking killing everybody in Haddonfield. But then the third one, you replace Michael and you do something completely different. And
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. And it's just like one of those things where
it's not the American Nightmare.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where like I feel like if you're able to stay close enough to the original film enough, people will gravitate towards that. But when you do something completely different, just like we've seen other movies like Friday the 13th Part 5 and Halloween 3, like it's very divisive. But I'll argue that Friday the 13th Part 5 still has those slasher elements, and then Halloween 3 is just a good ass story. Halloween Ends, there's nothing there for me. But
that whole trilogy felt like they wrote them all, then they put it through a paper shredder and had like some cat like try and cobble it
I think what you mean, Dan, is they brought a stack of scripts, they dropped them all and just threw the pages back together. They were the three movies.
Yeah.
I remember what I was going to say.
I didn't number them. We'll just wing it.
Dan, you said they didn't spend enough time with the Exorcists. See,
Yeah,
you're taking but here's the thing. The actual event is the Exorcist. It's not about the priests or the people. It's about the
exorcism.
That's that. It's not necessarily the person.
You need to correct him, you prick.
I'm trying to figure out what you're saying, because I mean, in the original film, we had great actors.
But you also didn't spend a ton of, like, you had little glimpses with their, like, I just watched the original Exorcist. I didn't watch this, so I don't know how it's going to translate.
I think Dan's referring to the lack
I'd
of
be
the priest
amazed if
involvement.
you like this. I think
that's the thing. So the actual event is also the exorcism is the
and there's no other characters. The kids are fine. I thought the kids were, they did a good job. I didn't think anybody was really interesting. I wasn't following their stories. It was unfocused again. Like I said, this Danny McBride, who I loved in Eastbound and Down. Once again, it's not that I have some hate on for him. Eastbound and Down is fucking hilarious.
All those,
but he's not a good writer.
See, here's the thing. I can't say that it's these properties. I got because all the other stuff. Give those to a horror film that has no connection to anything, and I will be able to give a true opinion, because he's a great director. His comedy works great. It's just that the material and it's not connecting to audiences.
You
Doesn't
could be
mean he's
right.
a bad writer. It just means it's not connecting. Now,
Give them a dumb slasher movie.
give
Slasher
them something
comedy.
original. That's what they need.
Maybe right. Fair is fair. Like I said, I liked some of his comedies. But
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like,
horror.
that's my one thing. Before I give my true opinion, let's hear from Pugs, and then we'll come back, because I don't know if he's going to bring up anything like.
Yeah, you never know with Pugs. So
and we should state before we play Pugs' review, he was the only one going in that was actually like, for me to be. I look at the chair, I was like, oh, this looks rough. I don't do that a lot, because there's normally something I'm like, okay, there's something I can, but this is the first time in a while. And I'm like, it's going to be strange. Okay, so let's hear what Pugs had to say on this one.
Just Believer. Unfortunately, it's not what I wanted, but I do like it. I don't hate it. I don't think it's the abomination abortion everyone's claiming it to be. I think they're being a little harsh just because it is in the world of The Exorcist, and I understand that. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. You need to reach a certain bar for it to be classified as a good movie, and then another bar to be classified as a good Exorcist movie. No one has come near that. The closest probably is number 3 of the TV shows to me. But yeah, this one's okay. I would say go see it, but I think the most interesting part for me was the family looking for their missing children. That was heart-wrenching as fuck. So yeah, this movie is actually overcooked and undercooked and super bloated with unnecessary characters or underutilized characters, because they introduce an idea of coexist rituals from different cultures. That's fascinating. Let's focus on that if we can, although I don't think they will, because Deceiver is probably going to be about the one that... Sophie's Choice. But we'll see, though. I have no fucking idea. Yeah, I wish I liked it more. The look is cool. Oh yeah, they did have some very cool William Friedkin-esque shots with the slow zooms and the wide framing. Yeah, it's just okay. I understand if you don't like it. I understand if you do like it. I don't understand if you love it or like... I do understand if you hate it, though. Just because it has the Exorcist name. The legacy character, maybe plural, totally unnecessary. It's just reminding you that, hey, you know, we have a legacy. And I wish she didn't do that, because Chris McNeil, unnecessary. And then what they end up doing, I wasn't as mad as I was with, like, you know, John Connor and Dark Fate, Jordan Dark Fate.
Not a spoiler.
We didn't need that. What else? Yeah, overall, it was just okay. Yeah. So maybe we'll talk about it later when I'm there proper. But right now, that's really all that's coming to mind. So I'll rate it. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5. That's average, but it's pretty low for an Exorcist movie. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll go into mine then. Rate it. I'm kind of where Pugs is on this one. Like, I don't think it's like everything. You know, it is all over the place. Now, the one thing that, like, Pugs brought up at the beginning, you brought up at the beginning, as a parent, like, I was really involved in that stuff. I mean, there's a point later on during The Exorcist that I got both reactions when they're asked the question. I got what our lead
Odom.
Oh yeah,
Jr.
Is that his character name?
I don't know I'm sorry, I don't know.
I know. I'm looking up. I'm looking at where is he? How come I don't see him? Yeah, Victor. Okay, yeah, Leslie Odom. I totally fucking lost what I was saying. Trying to remember his name.
The two parents' reactions.
Yes. Okay. Like, I get Victor's and the other parent. Like, I'm trying not to say it with, you know, but as a parent,
yeah,
I get
the decision that has to be made at the end.
Yeah, and I also get the fuck it one too, because you know what, fuck it. It's not like Pug said, it's kind of in the middle. That's where I kind of am with it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I was interested in the story though, and then we hit that, like, middle portion where it drags.
Oh
In the
yeah.
middle, it feels too long. But I was still like, I still wanted to see where things went. But I'm this is I don't know. Take this one how you will. I still, even to this day, I have a problem being scared of a couple little white girls. It doesn't work for me. So I can't. The American Ring never worked for me. Like Japanese Ring, oh fuck that. But yeah, so
Okay. You know what? Pugs's review. I have this image now of Arnold Schwarzenegger killing Chris McNeil on a beach.
that was. I do want to bring her up actually though. You have Ellen Burstyn, and you like.
She's 90 years old. I don't
I
think
get
she
it.
really had that power because I mean, from the trailer. I mean, there's a scene where she goes in, confronting the possessed girl, and it's just not there. That strength is not there. Like I felt.
Well, that's the
nothing.
fucking first stupid ass thing they fucking did. I was like, you dumb fucking bitch. Like, why would you go into a room with the possessed person and just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, again, she's just felt so shoehorned in. I didn't feel anything even at the very end. For those that have seen it, know what I'm talking about.
She was, but it was still nice to see her. I was like, oh well, that's cool. I know, Dan. You don't react to that.
It's so low bar now for people with some of these. It's like, oh yeah, there they are.
Well, yeah,
like we don't.
I'm not
talking
anything. About that. I'm talking about
there they are.
I'm talking about.
Give
Chris
us your
McNeil's,
money,
Ellen Burstyn. That's what I'm talking.
I mean, great actress. 90 years old. She looked.
No, I know, but they could have done more with her than they did. Or I think my biggest problem is it's like the way she's sidelined. Like you could have. Why bring her if you're not? There was a whole.
It wasn't shocking. It was just kind of lame.
Yes, because she know better than to walk into that situation. That's my biggest problem with that.
And it is a strange one. I wonder if they just had doubts about how well this may or may not do, because you don't need a follow-up to this. You know what I mean? Like this could be fine just as it is, and you don't do any more.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was on purpose. And then they've already kind of backtracked on David Gordon Green doing the sequels. Like he's not doing them. He doesn't have the time.
Oh yeah.
So and that can be an easy way to be like, well, he doesn't have the time. We don't have to make him. Or I don't see them. This may be our Van Helsing of this trilogy.
Punisher, a Batman fan, points out another very Blumhouse line where Chris McNeil, because she wasn't a part of the exorcism in the first movie, was just like, it was the patriarchy. Yeah, that was another. Like let's get it in there. Yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, this is one I'll talk about it on the Friday the 13th region free, and beyond that, I probably won't talk about this one again because why? There's just nothing there. It's barely an Exorcist movie, anyways, and
it's kind of like the Craft Legacy sequel, except that I think
that might be better. Worse.
No, I do think that, but
I'll give it that much.
I mean, I forget it exists every once in a while. That's the part I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that one's definitely because, like, I didn't hate this one. I really didn't hate the other one, but I'm never going to watch it again.
I kind of feel if we get more Exorcist movies, this one it'll be down the line, and they'll just pretend like this didn't exist.
Yeah, like most of the time. Yeah.
I know the budget was only 30 million, but the rights to get The Exorcist were huge. So I'm
sure. So they're probably still going to milk it. But okay, on me, I'm with Pugs on this one. I'm in the middle. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I do think at 90 minutes this would have been a better film. At 151 or an hour and 51, I should say that it is a little bloated, and it didn't need to be, especially when there is just so much in that middle portion that's all over the place. So, Dan, what do you give it? His typical Blum 0.
No. Half a star because, like I said, the setup was fine. It just goes nowhere.
So, is it a 1? Is that like a 5 for a Blumhouse film? If you give it a 1,
I gave it a half a star.
No, I'm saying if you gave a Blumhouse movie a 1, is that like equal to a Dan 5?
That is like a half wit. It's not a full moron. It's a half wit. So There you
Okay.
go.
I hope
There
we
you
get
go.
to
There are
Fred now.
worse Bloom movies.
All right,
but-
Dad. What do we have next? I'm sure
All
I did
right.
not expect
Wait,
this to top
Todd,
that much better.
you rated it?
I'm 2.5 also out of
All right.
5. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Todd, what's your favorite Exorcist movie though? Before we move on,
Probably
since you're-
2.
It was 2. Surprisingly,
God.
1 beat it. But I will say this for 2. Linda Blair has never been more beautiful than in Exorcist 2. I'm including Savage Streets.
She underage?
Well, when
No,
I was watching this
not
as a young child, I didn't think about that, but now it's
She wasn't-
awkward.
she wasn't in 2.
I had to throw it in.
Linda Blair was in all. What are you talking about?
No, wait. She wasn't underage in 2.
There. Okay, there you go.
She was 17.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong. I thought she
It's
was
all right. I was a
She
kid.
was already 20. Maybe my math's off. All right. So,
Now
You can
We
say
got
she's
her-
hot in Hell Night.
Hell Knight's a great movie. Linda Blair actually did. She made a lot of shit, but she made some good movies. Savage Streets, Hell Knight's great. I love Hell Night. But there's also a lot of The Chilling, and she did some bad stuff.
You know,
too.
even the shitty ones I do enjoy when she's in them.
All right. So moving on to our next franchise flick, which this time is a prequel. And I should say, going into it, this is a prequel to the remake. Some things might have been confusing to people that thought this was a prequel to the original 80s film. But Pet Sematary Bloodlines from director Lindsay Anderson Beer. And in this film, in 1969, Judd Crandall dreams of leaving Ludlow, Maine behind, but he soon discovers sinister secrets buried inside and is forced to face a dark family story that will keep him forever united with Ludlow. All right. So, of course, this is based on the Pet Sematary novel by Stephen King. Once again, it is a prequel to the remake. And I want to just talk about the cast first before we get into the movie, because pretty impressive. Henry Thomas, of course, and he's been on fire lately. I mean, Dr. Sleep, Haunting of Hill House, which I think is some of the best horror television we've had in many, many years. We also get David Duchovny, Samantha Mathis, who actually is also a Stephen King alumni. She was on Under the Dome, that Stephen King TV series. I don't know if anybody remembers it. And Pam Grier, which I love Pam Grier, but that seemed kind of random.
She's coming off a series that got canceled, so maybe
yeah.
kept her in the public eye.
Well, hot tag to whoever wants to go first on this one.
Fuck it. I'll go first.
That doesn't sound enthusiastic.
Well, here's the thing about this movie. I think they did get some of the Stephen King vibes in there, especially with like the characters that are, I guess, possessed by the thing that is in the Pet Cemetery. I thought some of those scenes were pretty solid, and I did like all like the weird, eerie, like when they're peeling away the skin stuff. But as a whole, this movie, I just felt like it dragged on forever. Some of the dialogue is just very poorly written, and there's like there's this one line in here where they just use the dead is better thing, and it just bugged the shit out of me because I just thought it was so unneeded.
That's why it was made, just so he could say that line.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly what it felt like. Like I said, I like the I like the weird skin peeling stuff that we got with the possessed. I also like the creepy dog. I thought he looked really cool, but man, just as a whole, this movie just felt like it was really unnecessary. As a prequel, I feel like a prequel should really delve into the lore heavily, and while it does a little bit, it didn't get to that point where I wanted it to, where like I understood the whole backstory. They kind of just put in this flashback scene to say, oh, this has happened before, and then that's it. So at the end of the day, I don't feel like it added anything to Pet Cemetery fucking history. I do actually not hate the Pet Sematary remake. I think it's okay, but this just, it was definitely below average. It felt like by the numbers, let's shoot this out because the studio, because it has a name and we can get it out around Halloween
it's
time.
content, 100%
Yeah.
content.
Yeah, it just feels like content at the end of the day, and I was hoping for something better, especially being one of those guys that actually really likes a remake. But as a whole,
I'm team remake. I'm well, not as in team as in better. I do really enjoy the remake. I don't remember.
yeah, there's a lot of people that say that the remake is better than the original, and I think that's total bullshit.
I think it's because
me.
the swerve, but the swerve only works if you've seen the original.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you don't, then it's the whole. Yeah.
But yeah, so just I was very kind of disappointed on this because I was hoping it would have dived in to a better backstory of why this pet cemetery is causing fucking people to come back from the dead, and it really just didn't. It didn't do that for me.
Yeah, Todd, what did you think?
I did like this. It was, yes, it's content. I knew exactly what it was, but acting wise, I love Henry Thomas and obviously David Duchovny, motherfucker. And see, I'd pop down with that one. It was fun. I liked the concept. It was different. It took me. I was like, this timeline doesn't seem right. I was like, oh yeah, the remake. So at first I was like, yeah, this was like 10 years before Pet Cemetery. Then
in my head, I was like, what the fuck? This guy doesn't turn into Fred Gwynn in 20 fucking years.
Right, that was my problem. I was like, what?
But this fucking Twilight looking twink doesn't become like
4703.
Twink's okay.
Okay, man, I'm leaving it. But yeah, no, I mean, I had a good time. I was like really invested in it for some reason. And I did really enjoy it. I don't know. Is it? Obviously it's dividing everyone, I'm sure, because it's a new horror movie everyone watched. So I don't know where the consensus lies on this one, really.
From what I've seen, it's been pretty much negative.
Okay, well,
but
makes sense.
I don't think I know a single person that liked this one yet. As of now, there's always somebody, but
that was me.
I love the original Pet Cemetery, and although I don't think it's as good, I thought the remake was solid, unnecessary, but solid. I enjoyed it. John Lithgow, I mean, if you're going to try and replace Fred Gwynn, John Lithgow's a great actor. When I heard prequel, I was like, I don't know. And then it's like, this sounds more like Stephen King's It than Pet Cemetery. Number one, the original Pet Cemetery is a grief horror classic. It just has so much going for it. And I'm sorry to say this, but I don't know if it's him aging or just maybe not caring as much. I'm a huge David Duchovny fan. I did not feel any grief out of him whatsoever. I did not feel any connection with him and his son. It was just super bland. And he was also in that Craft Legacy movie that maybe broke him. I don't know, because he wasn't good in that
broke his spirit.
and I'm a huge fan because obviously we all love X-Files, but Californication,
that's the one I love.
Californication is one of my all-time favorite non-horror series. I just thought he was fucking awesome in that. I don't know, he just seemed like he was ready to go to sleep in this movie. It's a waste of a great cast. Pam Grier is wasted. I never felt any connection between these characters. I really thought, I was like, okay, this is going to be basically Stephen King's It, and we're going to have Judd and his buddies stopping evil in this town. And I'm just like, nothing happens in this fucking movie. When the dog bites Judd's girlfriend, that's about as lively as things get. It's just, it really is. This is content. This 100%. Is not a movie. It's content. It does.
To be fair, that's 90% of what we get, though, is content at this point.
Well, again, though, no, that's not true because we'll get to it later because there is a film I love tonight, but a couple films. But I don't know. I'm just like, this doesn't do anything with the story. It exists just so he can say dead is better. Like, that's the only fucking reason I can think that they put this whole thing together. Maybe there was an interesting period piece they could have done. There is like a 2-second flashback to 1674 and the settlers and Ludlow. Maybe they needed to go back further and there could have been a compelling story to be told, but I never felt any danger. I never felt any grief. I mean, the original Pet Sematary, Zelda, that was some scary fucking traumatizing shit. I'm sure a lot of you out there rented that when you were a kid or saw it in the theater. That was some scary shit. This movie, not once was I even unnerved. There's not even any cheap jump scares to speak of.
The funniest thing I thought
was
they kept trying to use the fucking truck as a jump scare. That shit, every time they did it, I would fucking laugh.
Yeah, and again,
okay, we get it. You ran over a kid 30 fucking years ago.
The cast is so good too. I mean, Henry Thomas, it was a waste of an awesome cast.
I did think he was underutilized because he was just kind of, but like I said,
I kept thinking maybe you could have had do a prequel to the original Pet Sematary, and maybe I could buy that Henry Thomas turned into Fred Gwynn in 20 years. Maybe I could buy that a little bit more. Nobody's particular, like I said, except David Duchovny, and it pains me to say that because it just looked like he was struggling to stay away.
I took it as an acting choice where he's that generation of man who keeps everything inside, and especially from that era. And that's the way I took it, because you can see the anger in him, but that's the only emotion you ever get out of him. To me, that feels like a choice for a man from that age and that era. It made sense to me.
But I didn't feel any pain out of him.
Well,
no pain.
That's what Ned used to do, Dan.
Yeah, but you still see it. You have these character moments. I get what you're saying, but
I didn't say it was a good choice, but it could have been. That's the way I took it. Well, let's see.
Also, Judd's girlfriend did not look like she was in 1969.
Yeah,
a lot of characters in this didn't look. They look more modern.
Ever since The Departed, I kind of have gotten over it, because I remember watching The Departed and being like, why does it look like Leo is playing dress up with his buddies? I just couldn't take it. And then after that, it's like, okay, whatever. But I'm rambling. Let's see what Pugs thought, because I have no clue. What do you guys think? Any predictions?
It should have stayed buried in a pet cemetery.
All right, let's see.
Pet Sematary, Bloodlines, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Thank you, Pugs.
Sometimes Dad is better.
There you go.
This time it wasn't.
Oh.
This was cool.
Okay.
It's a nice little story, a prequel story to Judd, young Judd, who is a very humble, very nice, well-to-do guy. Wanted to join the Peace Corps and shit.
That's the one episode he misses.
Don't get me wrong, this isn't a masterpiece by any means, but I enjoyed my time with these characters in this story in a familiar setting, and I don't hold the originals like to high regard at all. I think my favorite Pet Sematary thing might be the Ramones song. That song fucking rocks. Yeah, this was cool. A little more blood could have gone a long way. The masks are always cool with the animal mask and the rituals and stuff. A little more Wendigo would be nice, or at all. Yeah, it's fine. This one I'll keep short. This one, 3 out of 5.
I'm with Pugs on this one. Like, honestly, we're pretty much exactly the same on this one. Yeah, everything I basically said too. I'm a 3 out of 5 also. It hit me in the right mood. So there you go.
Can I even give this a full star? I can't think of a single reason to. Honestly, it's closer to a 0, but half star. So the actors weren't bad, but this movie's a piece of shit.
2 out of 5 for me.
A half star for not bad acting.
2 half stars. Yeah, I mean the.
No. I said 2. I said 2 out of 5. No,
Dan's talking about himself. He didn't hear what you rated it.
I heard him. I didn't know who you were talking to, Todd.
See?
Half a star. Two.
No, he
maybe.
said 2 stars, Dan.
Yeah,
I know.
2
I
stars.
said half. I
No
don't
one
know
gives
who
a
you're
shit what
talking
you said.
Fuck
God
you,
damn it,
Todd.
always makes it about him.
All right. So
All
there
right.
we go. Pet
Thank you.
Cemetery, Bloodlines. I would not subscribe to Paramount Plus just to watch this. So there you go. Just looking at the chat a little bit. Chris, not a fan of the remake. I get what you're saying. I thought it was decent enough. It didn't need to exist, but
You know what's the one thing on the remake that really pisses me off, and I wish they would have went there. The end scene, right, where they see the I think it's like I can't remember because I've only watched it once, but I remember like the ending scene, like the parents are like looking in a car as it's burning. And I think it's maybe the little girl in it. I wanted to see the little kid burn alive in the fucking car. That would have like made the fucking movie like way better for me.
Does that one have an alternate ending?
It may actually. Now that I think about it, it may have.
Because I remember seeing
one
2
on the
versions of
Blu-ray.
that ending. Now that
Yeah, it may have one on the Blu-ray.
if anyone remembers in the chat without me having to look it up, let me know.
Yeah, I mean it was a one and done for me, but I remember leaving the theater and not being completely disgusted. So, yeah, it's weird though because with this sequel coming out or prequel, I've seen a lot of people talk about how much that they think the first Pet Cemetery, the original film, is shit, and it drives me crazy. I don't understand how you think that movie's shit. We have a friend of the show that specifically has gone on to about 15 Twitter rants about how much they hate the fucking original movie. I don't get what you're saying, bitch.
Do they at least like the second one? Dan was giving that love in the chat. I'm also Team Pet Cemetery too.
I've never seen the second one, and
You will love Pet Cemetery too.
you'll like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not as good as the first, but it's a lot of fun.
Word.
Yeah. Edward
Okay.
Furlong, by the way.
All right, so oh, you don't want to pull that up, Tom?
Oh well, no, it's a whole context thing. I didn't mean to click it.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that Pet Cemetery, Bloodlines. I mean, I guess I would say at least check it out if you are. For me, at least, I'm a big Stephen King fan. And I think they got some of his vibes in the movie enough to where if you have Paramount Plus, you have nothing else to watch. Throw it on, see what you think.
All right. So our next film, which is also streaming, this time on Amazon Prime, Totally Killer from director Nanachka Khan. And this film follows when the infamous Sweet 16 killer returns 35 years after his first murder spree to claim another victim. 17-year-old Jamie accidentally travels back in time to 1987, determined to stop the killer before he can start again. So this one, obviously, Happy Death Day comparisons are obvious, but also Final Girls, which was a very well-regarded movie. If you like Final Girls, you'll definitely enjoy Totally Killer, although I think Final Girls is better. But
I need to revisit that to make that to answer that question.
Yeah, at least I think so. I don't know. Maybe some people would disagree. I had a lot of fun with this movie. When she goes back into time, and there's a lot of humor because she's a modern 2023 girl. Todd, I'm sure you recognize the actress because she was Sally Draper in Mad Men, the little girl in that one. She's been playing high school girls for a long time.
If you want to bring something genre, you can bring up Sabrina, obviously.
Sabrina, yeah, I was going to say she's the new Sabrina on Netflix. So this is fluff, but it's fun fluff, I think. The humor where she's reacting to like these 80s jock dudes and I thought was actually most of that I laughed at. I thought it was actually pretty clever. Nothing like preachy or anything. It was just funny to see.
They got to get their points in without making it preachy. And they made it humorous. Like you're supposed to hide your fucking message. They don't get this. Look at George Romero. That shit wasn't obvious to everyone.
Yeah.
Message.
And I thought when she runs into her parents and realized like her mother was kind of a bitch in high school, I thought that was pretty amusing. She does look a lot older than she's not as older as I thought. She's only 24, but she just looks like a grown woman, which I don't know plays too well, but she's good in the movie.
I mean, she was a senior in high school. I mean, technically a grown woman.
Yeah. And yeah, there's a moment, I can't remember what the shirt says, but she walks into this guy who had like it wasn't a no fat chick shirt, but it was essentially
No, it says fucking something about boobies.
Yeah,
It was the federal. It was the FBI gimmick.
Yeah.
Federal booby.
Federal booby inspector.
Yeah, or whatever it was. Yeah.
I thought that was really funny. There's a lot of cool moments there, or where she's watching RoboCop with their mom, who of course does, and then she's like, "Did the machines kill us all?" And then there's like an iPhone joke. Most of the gags actually landed in this, because I won't lie. I mean, the premise, I was like, oh, this feels like more Blumhouse bullshit, even though it's not Blumhouse. Luckily,
It is 100% Blumhouse, Dan, and you need to acknowledge that.
Is it Blumhouse?
It is 100% Blumhouse.
And there you
I
go.
was waiting for this moment
totally
because they didn't put the logo first.
You keep saying like I never like a Blumhouse movie.
Well, no, I just wanted
motherfucker
first.
God forbid we fucking make that assumption.
95%, but there is a 5%. So there you go. There's the 5. I didn't think there was. I didn't see the logo.
Because it had the BH television logo. Because I always say, the television arm puts out better stuff. And because it's on MGM Plus, or no, this one's on Prime, but it's through MGM. That's the logo that's prominent.
Do you think they picked it up? Because it's not quite dumb enough.
No, it's a Blumhouse movie. No, you can watch this and not see the Blumhouse like all over it.
Well, no, I was actually going to call it Blumhouse adjacent, but it's good. So there you go. Well, once in a while, even Blumhouse gets one once in a while.
That was my gotcha for the show. I was waiting for that goddamn moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing, like I said, very similar to Final Girls, just with time travel. But I did enjoy most of it. I also loved, they call it different things, but that flying saucer ride that you go to in a lot of cars.
Gravitron is normally.
Yeah, like you lean against the wall. It is like the most intense fucking ride. There's nothing you will go to in a theme park where you'll get more rocked than that ride.
I love that ride.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's a little more intense as you get older, though. The last time I was on it, I was like, I'm gonna ride this like 3 times. Nobody's here. And then the third time, I was like, fuck, the ground is spinning.
I do want to bring this up. Slash Room Video points out, this is the kind of movie where Blumhouse shines. They need to stick to this and stop trying to make serious movies.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I don't disagree, though. That is their good, that Happy Death Day stuff. Like when they're light and fun, that's their money. I agree with that very much.
Yeah, and I agree. Chris, Graviton is the best. They call it something else in here, but
Gravitron's the one I noticed too.
Yeah, me too.
They have fun with the time travel stuff. Obviously, any time travel movie, that if you overthink it, like there's like, but they kind of, they address.
That's funny because there's a movie coming out that's going to get compared to this. It is so similar.
You mean you saw it early or something?
Well, I'm not
NDA, motherfucker,
dickhead. But yeah, it's
okay.
I mean,
okay.
It's weird. Like I was watching this and I was just kind of like, okay, interesting. And not in a bad way. I'm just thinking it's gonna be a thing.
Whenever we inevitably review that, you'll have to let me know.
It'll be in December.
I don't know. Okay.
And you guys will not need me to prompt you.
Yeah. So as far as like the kills go and everything, it's kind of like basic, like stab, but it's very energetic. The fight scenes I thought were really good. Particularly because you're taking place in 2 different time periods. I thought the mom who had prepped for him, there's a scene where she starts like fucking up the killer, and it felt like it worked a little bit more than Jamie Lee Curtis doing it. I was like, oh, you did that a lot better than what was it, Kills, I guess, managed to pull off. And
real quick, Ben Grimm says, yeah, there's a new one called Time Cut, also called Scream Meets Back to the Future. Also not the one. Apparently this is now a genre officially, the Happy Death Day
it's
esque genre.
I have a feeling I know what Todd is talking about because I saw the trailer for it. But yeah,
I think I do too, but I'm
not going to tell you till the movie's out, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't want to say it.
I'm not legally allowed.
All right, Dan, you've talked enough.
Go ahead.
Let me just jump in here as probably the biggest slasher fan of all of us.
Here we go.
I like the movie. I don't think it's as great as everybody's been saying. First off, motherfucking CGI blood stabbings galore. And that fucking shit drove me insane. Insane. Like, it happens within like the first probably 15 minutes of the movie, and you see these CGI fucking bullshit stabbings, and it just pissed me the fuck off. But the movie itself is not bad. I like the concept. I like the whole back to the future thing. That and the slasher genre, I think, is great. But I think they dropped the ball heavily on the gore here. And while, like, I like Happy Death Day and I like Freaky, I think Freaky, out of those, including this in there, those three movies, has the best kills. And that's probably why I like that one the best. And this movie, for kill wise, just had nothing there for me. It was just basic stabbings, and then just seeing the CGI fucking bullshit wound every single time drove me insane. But I did like the story. I like the concept. I like the killer. I thought the killer looked cool, but man, and the Gravitron thing alone, when I saw the trailer, that was enough for admission because I used to go on that ride all the time.
It's easy for a big guy. There's no size restrictions.
But they didn't utilize it.
No.
They didn't utilize that. And I thought like a chase scene on the Gravitron that was like really intense, and the motherfucker's pinned up against the wall and he's sitting there with his knife and fucking working his way towards it. Like, there's a lot of tension that could have been there that they just left on the table, and that really upset me. As a whole, though, Daily Ghost said, I like the kills because the torment that came from the actors for me. I get that, but also I've seen motherfucker get stabbed and them look like they're in peril 1,000 times. It's nothing new for me. I really wish they would have used something creative, especially with the Gravitron. I mean, I feel like there could have been like a cool kill where you fucking cut somebody's face off and you pull them off while they're stuck on the Gravitron or something. But there was nothing there, and that really disappointed me. But as a whole, I still like the movie. I don't like it as much as I've seen my peers, especially in our Discord.
I haven't even
in our Discord, dude.
I shouldn't say I haven't seen it.
Yeah, right. In our Discord, a lot of our viewers and people were part of the community were giving it high praise. So going in, I had high expectations, and I left being like, all right, I guess that was cool, but kills could have been better, and especially with a cool killer, that disappoints me. But it's fine. It's a good Halloween watch. It takes place during Halloween, so get on that. But at the end of the day, it's not going to make my top 10 or anything like that, and it's definitely like my expectations going in were probably a little too high. But still, at the end of the day, I think the kills kind of suck.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I went in knowing nothing. I just knew it was a new Blumhouse Prime movie. That's all I knew going in.
Like, if they would have gave me one good kill, like one kill I could pick out of everything, I probably would have a way more glowing review. But just everything was very basic. And with a slasher, for me, you need to be creative with your kills. And having a fucking Gravitron, come on.
Okay, here's the kill that you need to do in the Gravitron. It's easy because the thing slides up. You just put someone's head under there for when it comes down.
Yeah.
Done. One kill that needs to happen in the Gravitron.
Turn them upside. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, it's not a big gore film. It
yeah,
kinda
this
sticks
is
to
this
that
is
Scream.
definitely a comedy horror. It
but-
feels more.
Yeah,
This is
more
more. This
yeah,
is
more
more for
comedy than
everyone
horror.
than just the horror community. This is something.
But
an
still,
average crime viewer.
at that, dude. Like, I don't need a movie to be a gore film. Just get creative with the fucking kills.
But you do need a slasher film to at least have creative kills.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dan, before I throw it to Pugs, did you have any other points?
I wanted to just tell a brief story because I knew a guy whose legal name was Skeletor. So that tells you the kind of he had his name changed to Skeletor, who I knew in West Virginia, and he actually he was kind of like a carny dude. He just did a lot of different kinds of jobs. I played cards with him several times, and he worked on, like, I think that it was called something else, but he worked on the Gravitron ride, and he told me this story about this teenager who shit himself like on the ride, and like shit himself. Like he must have not been feeling good. I don't know why you would go on the Gravitron. And he said, like, when the ride like stopped, it's just like boom. Like, he just said it was the grossest fucking thing. He refused to clean it. It was just one of those things like, you're not paying me enough. I'm not cleaning it. And
better take a hose
like,
in that sumbitch.
You can fire me. I'll go work at McDonald's, or I'll, whatever. I don't care. I'm not cleaning it. But he said it was like the nastiest fucking thing. And I guess the process of having to clean that thing is not easy. And yeah, so there you go. Graviton making people shit themselves. That's how wild that ride is.
I do want to bring this up because Daily Ghost brought it up. It didn't come up, and Kruger didn't even comment. Kruger, The Mask. You gave no opinion.
I did. I said I like the look of the killer.
Okay, I didn't remember that part. Okay, do you understand the look of the killer? It's very 80s.
Negative.
It's very Max Headroom, which I don't even know if you know who the fuck that is.
I know who Max Headroom
okay.
is.
But yeah, I don't know if you connected that.
The earring, the face I get, but the earring threw me off.
Well, I think it's that whole we have to be X amount percentage different because fuck, it would have been awesome if they just did it.
Yeah, if they would have just did that, would have.
But now it's easier for them to sell replica masks if they want to.
This is true.
I was looking at the Happy Death Baby one today. I was like, $30 is steep. 20 would have been different.
For that fucking piece of shit, for sure, dude. Like, it's a fucking what? Yeah, like it's got a string on the back of it.
Yeah, the back form, whatever.
Yeah,
all right, let's see what Pugs says, and then we'll go into ratings. What were you gonna say, Dan?
Oh, I was just saying, you may not know Garrett, although you probably do from way back, but Born to Be Rad, that's the killer in this. I'm gonna get him to sign an 8x10.
That's like
if I see Garrett in person, I'm gonna get him to sign an 8x10.
But see, now you're just telling me he's Max Headroom brought to life, which works also. So he's 80s all about it. So
I know I'm gonna have that next to that House of the Dead poster. I know you're currently collecting signatures.
That I forgot to take to the CCW show.
Oh, that's all right. There'll be a couple other shows.
I'll see them. Don't worry. All right. And let's hear what Pugs thinks. I'm going to guess he likes it too.
Killer, now streaming on Prime. I'm trying to break the habit of calling it Amazon Prime. It's just Prime. Not that fucking Logan Paul drink. The good one. I just finished watching that movie. I had a fucking ball with this movie. I did not expect it. Well, I didn't see any trailers to begin with. I didn't read the synopsis. I was just told, watch this movie. Man, what a gem. I will admit, I rolled my eyes when they introduced the idea of time travel. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I did enjoy Happy Death Day. Let's see how this goes. And I love the mask. I love the girls. I love the old school. I know, Todd, I know you're fucking with me when you appreciated the old school bullying and homophobic comments, and then this little millennial kid just going in there going, you shouldn't do that, and them not giving one fuck about her feelings. Yeah, that shit rocked. I like the killer, the look. I like how mean he was when he did. we did the Sweet 16 murders or whatever, the 16 stabbings. That is badass. Would I have liked a more serious version of this? Of course. But man, this was like ice cream on a hot day. I just enjoyed the fuck out of this one. I hope we get more. You know, they keep referencing Back to the Future, and they got 3 of those. So if you want to do more of these, I'm fucking in. This was a highlight of October so far. Yeah, so I will rate it right now, 4.5 out of 5.
Very cool. Kruger, what are you giving it? I'm guessing it's going to be a little lower.
3 out of 5.
He's giving it 2 in the pink and 1 in the Dad, what are you at? I'm going to guess you're right in between those.
You know, we didn't point out we had Kim Jong-un as the sheriff from The Interview, Randall Park.
Oh yeah,
The Interview, yeah.
Yes.
Who's always
he's also
good.
like all in all the Marvel stuff and in a bunch of series. But Dan just remembers him way back from the
The
movie
Interview.
no one remembers. The Interview.
The good stuff. Everybody,
Like,
the
fresh
interview,
off the boat.
we
and fucking
nearly had
Ant-Man.
World War III because of The Interview, Todd. We nearly died for a Seth Rogen, James Franco production.
And you thought 2023 was bad. That was a literal thing.
I was going to say it was so much worse. What's going on now that's so bad? It's like, yeah, we nearly died because of a Seth Rogen movie. Can you imagine, like, you're walking the wastelands, you've got your assless chaps, you're searching
Rate
for
your
water,
movie, Dan. God damn
It's
it.
all right.
and it's just
Dan-
like Seth fucking Rogen, and I'm just like eating a squirrel. It's like, man, that's
It's okay.
depressing.
Dan screams about Danny McBride and David Gordon Green all the time. I wouldn't have predicted that one that decade
My
ago.
luck, that son of a bitch would have survived, and I would have had to like walk.
Okay,
the
Dan,
way
what you give it?
All right, so honestly, this hit my. I'm torn between a 3 and a 3.5, but it hit my nostalgia feels well enough. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to extend the olive branch to Bloom and give it a 3.5, which is like a 10 for a Bloom.
To be fair,
So,
Blumhouse Television, I always say is a little
Bloom.
bit better,
They're still Bloom.
but their Amazon input has been garbage until this. Welcome
that
to the
is
Dollhouses. None of them have been good.
Yeah.
Well, there was one I kind of like the one with what's her name from Greta. Not her. The other one from.
Streaming Bloom is the shits lately.
Well, not anymore, Dan.
There you go. There you go.
I'm with Pugs on this one. I had a fucking blast. I loved it. I was going back between 4.5 and a 4. The fact that I have no complaints about the 80s footage and how it was represented, and I didn't see a fucking wrong VHS tape somewhere, I will give it a 4.5. I actually made sure all those tapes are correct. So
that was like the entire review of that Us movie.
Yes,
It was
yeah.
like Todd just didn't even like the movie didn't exist. It was just like they fucked up the year.
No, that's not what I said. I said I didn't know we were watching a time travel movie.
Oh, okay.
Because they had a VHS tape from 1995 and 1983. So
Yeah.
It made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't
Get
worry
those
about it,
details right. The nerds are gonna catch it. So all right. So moving
Ben
on
Grimm said,
to
big fan of this one. Just talking about makes me want to watch it again. Kind of feel you on that. This is just an easy, fun watch. It's not too long.
yeah.
So I actually know this is one of the longer ones. This one's like 145. The last one, Pet Cemetery, was under 90 minutes. So go figure. All right.
Mercifully. All right. So our next film coming to us from Argentina and director Demian Rugna, who we just reviewed. He had a segment in Satanic Hispanics, but he also made a film called Terrified, which is an excellent movie. So let's see if When Evil Lurks lives up to it. So this film follows the residents of a small rural Argentinian town that discover a demon is about to be born among them. They desperately try to escape, but it might be too late. All right, so When Evil Lurks, I knew that. I mean, obviously, this director has a really good record with Terrified, and I can't recall what segment he did of Satanic Hispanics.
It was the Rubik's Cube one.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean we all love that. This is the next great classic fucking horror movie, in my opinion. It is nasty, visceral. It's not in any way safe. And although this is it's almost impossible to classify this film because it has elements of folk horror, but it's also a possession story of sorts. It's not an exorcism movie. It almost has zombie elements to it, but it is unlike anything you have ever seen before. This has some of the most effective horror scenes I've seen in a movie in ages. It is scary. I love that we have a very flawed protagonist. I mean, he's a deadbeat dad. He makes some really bad decisions in the movie, but you still root for him. And this world that they create, they don't fully explain everything, but we're essentially in this world where possession is just a thing. They call them the rotted. This movie, in a lot of ways, is kind of a COVID allegory, or at least that's kind of how I took it. And
said the C word.
You can bleep it if you want. I don't know if that still matters, but it's really unsettling. Like, this is the scariest horror movie I think I've seen, certainly of 2023, and maybe one of the scariest horror movies I think I've seen in a long time. I love this film. I can't even tell you. It's just an assault on the senses from beginning to end. This is not like art house horror. It's not even really a slow burn necessarily, because I mean, this one, when the shit hits the fan, it goes hard. There are scenes from this that are going to be etched in my memory a long time. I'm not going to even hint at them because I think it would be doing a disservice. If you missed it in theaters, it's supposed to drop October 27th on Shudder, which is when most of you will get to see this. And watching this, it just makes me kind of almost ashamed of American horror to a degree. I mean, we have our good stuff, but I don't think we could have had this movie come out of our country. It is just stellar. I cannot shout this one from the rooftops enough. It probably my favorite horror film of 2023 by far, and one of the best horror movies I've seen this last decade. I love it. Sit your ass down. If you haven't seen Terrified, that is an awesome Halloween evening. Watch Terrified in this, and your mind will be blown. I love the characters in this. The autistic son, and I don't want to say where they go with that, but I thought his story was really fascinating with this. The whole idea of possession by touch, like just by touch, I thought was really scary. And they kind of treat possession more like a flu in this, really. And again, the C allegory. Guys, I can't put this one over enough. For me, crap like Exorcist and Pet Sematary that I've watched this last few weeks, forget about that shit, guys. This movie, this is what we should be talking about. This is what we should be championing. It is pure horror magic. I cannot put it over enough. All right, I've jacked it off enough. Dan, what do you guys think?
Don't make me knock that off.
Sorry. I've lovingly embraced it enough, Tad.
There you go. Thank you.
With my penis.
Well,
you made me do it, Todd.
I hate to be the turd in the punch bowl. I hated this movie. I thought that it was boring as shit. Gore was very low. And at the end of the day, I hated this thing. I was so pissed off that I paid fucking $7 to get into the theater.
Wow, I'm shocked.
I'm bullshit.
Now, are you joking?
I'm bullshit. I'm bullshit.
I knew. I was like, "There's no way."
So
this movie.
See, Dan, that's how you do it. Dan, that's how you do it.
Well, he's an actual worker.
This movie was the shit.
I was saying.
I loved it. Granted, I don't think it's a perfect horror film. I do think there's a little tiny bit of time that drags, like probably in the like 50-minute mark. But as a whole, I still loved it. I mean, this thing is fucking disgusting. I'm not even gonna bullshit you. I gagged like about 3 times when I was watching the movie, seeing this fucking disgusting possessed fat fuck on the goddamn bed. Jesus Christ, dude, that thing was so fucking disgusting looking. And my girl, like, I'm looking at my girlfriend, right, the whole time, like expecting a reaction, stone face through the whole fucking thing. I'm here like fucking gagging.
Yeah.
Man, this is a fucked up little story. It takes some turns. Like at the beginning, I just thought, okay, this is gonna be like your typical possession movie, and then it fucking just hits you with something out of nowhere, and you're like, Jesus Christ! And then it escalates that towards the end. I won't spoil anything, but like, there's a fucking visual that like is so fucked up, but it just brought me to like a flower girl at a wedding just throwing flowers out. But sure as shit, that weren't fucking flowers, motherfucker. And damn, dude, this movie, like, this is
It's a trip to hell.
This is what I love about horror. It just is unapologetic. It doesn't give a fuck if you're a girl, a boy, a fucking goddamn child. Nobody's safe, like you said, Dan. And like, man, by the end of it, like, it's fucking great. I feel like most people, if you are going to watch Exorcist Believer, you should probably go watch this instead, because it's going to give you a lot more of that visceral fucking disgustingness that the first Exorcist gave you. I mean, people don't credit the first Exorcist enough with how visceral and fucked up it was for 1973. I mean,
for today.
No, but I feel like with most people, like, you'll watch it and you won't get the same effect. But I mean, if you watch the uncut version of the original Exorcist, it gives you some straight up extreme horror level shit. I mean, there can be an argument made, but in my opinion, The Exorcist is one of the original extreme horror films because it pushed the boundaries that nobody else did at that time. And this like had all of that spirit.
And the emotion too. It hits you on all fronts.
And the emotion. I love the main character. And like you said, Dan, he's flawed, but sure as shit, as soon as he fucking realizes that there's a motherfucking, there's hell that has landed in his town, that guy is so ready to gather up all his children and get them the fuck out of there. So I felt for him really hardcore as a parent. Not me being a parent, but like his character as a parent. I felt for him. And yeah, this movie is great. It's definitely up there as one of my favorites of the year. I would say if you have the chance, I don't know if it's stopped playing yet. Maybe you can catch one more night. Go see this on the biggest screen possible, because it's definitely one of the hardest watches of the year when it comes to emotionally and just viscerally. And they don't hold back on the gore. They don't hold back on anything. Grant, probably some CGI shit in there, but at the end of the day, with everything that was going on screen, didn't care. And I will say they have probably the most disgusting effect I have seen all year with the original Possessed that's in the movie. And I think the imagery of that fucking nasty human being sitting on that fucking bed is gonna be etched into a lot of human beings' skulls after they watch this thing.
The leaking through the thing, yeah.
Dude, well, and my favorite part is like when they're trying to talk to the cops after. He's like, he's fucking full of pus. Like, he's like legitimately like, motherfucker, you don't understand what we just saw. But us as the audience, we all know because we were all gagging while you were watching it. So it's a great horror film, one of the best of the year by far, and
best of the year for me.
Yeah, you got to check it out. I can't hold it as to that high regard with some of the stuff I've seen this year, but like, it is up there, and I would be surprised if it doesn't make my top 5, or maybe like maybe number 6 or something by the end of the year. It's great. Go check it out. I know this is coming to Shudder. This is going to probably be the best Shudder picture of the year. So
I'm going to watch it again when it drops on the 27th.
Me too.
And that's weird for me because I don't get to rewatch a lot of stuff. I will sit down and I'm going to watch this again back to back with Terrified, which is also a great film.
Yeah, I need to rewatch Terrified. I watched Terrified probably around the time it came out, and I really liked it. But I also did have some CGI issues with that movie too. At the same time, though, this director is the shit. If you need more of his work, watch Satanic Hispanics. Honestly, double this up with Satanic Hispanics and just get a full fucking cornucopia of beautiful Spanish horror, because this is definitely up there as one of the greats.
This is so good. I mean, certainly if he can hit us with another one of these, I mean, Demi and Rugna right up there with an Ari Aster or Robert Eggers for the modern era. I mean, this guy, if he's not already a master of horror, and I think he's done more to justify that title than a lot of people, he will be. This is the real deal. It's hard to classify it as any one thing, too, which is also.
I mean, it's 100
very unique.
It's at the end of the day, it's possession humor, but like
of sorts, yeah.
I mean, not of sorts. Like that's what the concept is. But
sure.
I mean,
it's unpredictable, though.
Yeah, it's unpredictable, and it gives you, Todd, you're muted. It gives you those visceral fucking scenes that most possession horror do not. Like, you could totally put this up there at like it's borderline extreme horror with how fucked up it gets.
I think it flirts with that, and there are moments that are extreme, but I think it has a different kind of nastiness than the normal. It's like, I don't know. There's something about it that
because it's clean. It's clean.
I think
most extreme horror isn't clean at all. It's very dirty, very low budget. But this is like a very beautifully shot movie. It has a very high production value, but it goes into realms that most movies won't.
Yes, exactly. And although it did take me a minute because I thought we had Mexican Wolverine as the lead, but after that, I was like, all right, this is fucking awesome. Yeah, I fucking love this too. It's a great film. I do want to watch it again too. I'll probably watch it on the 27th. I'm actually looking for a next movie tomorrow.
I mean, consider the budget of this, which is probably, certainly not a lot. And the effects are just miles better than anything you see in Exorcist Believer or, really probably just about any horror movie this year. So effective. And like I said, I have several moments from this movie etched in my mind that'll stay there for a long time.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where like everybody credits Hereditary for, the fucking phone pole scene. This has about 3 of those motherfuckers in it. And I mean, in my opinion, way better than Hereditary. I like Hereditary a lot, but like if you are going into it as a gore fan or as a fan that likes just watching fucked up shit happen in a horror film, this has way more for you. And
this has more rewatchability for me than Hereditary.
I consider that a masterpiece too, but man, there is a moment, and again, we've done a good job not giving it away, but we've seen some shit, but I'm sitting there with my mouth like like when it happened, I was like,
the flower girl thing I'm referencing.
Yeah, it has to be the same.
Me and my girlfriend, like she like looked at me and I looked at her. I was like, is this really happening?
I legit audibly, oh shit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It goes fucking hard in the paint, motherfucker. So like if you're one of those guys that like and it's eating lemon pepper wings, like if you're one of those guys that think that horror has gone soft, Go check this shit out. And I say this just for anybody. If you think horror's gone soft, go watch some motherfucking goddamn foreign films and you'll realize it hasn't. It's just.
So you're saying America's gone soft. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. I mean, outside of Terrifier, all you motherfuckers have gone soft in the States. So.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing.
Yeah, well,
mainstream for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
You know
what else can be said? We still have to hear from Pugs.
Oh, yeah. Before he goes, though, I'm so confident in this movie. I would really be surprised if any of you out there didn't like it, unless it's just too much for you.
I'm not going to go that far,
I suppose, possible, but I'm gonna I don't know, just fellow podcasters, Piz, Christian. I don't see any of them not loving this, and they're all very different people. I don't see any of them not loving this. I really don't, and I'm curious to see everybody's reviews now. That's all I can say. And a lot of them will start coming in after October 27th. Shout this film from the rooftop, guys.
Dan's still trying to get himself over. I saw it. I reviewed it first.
No, I didn't. There's a few other people that have, but I walked out of that theater and man, I started texting people, get your ass.
I know. I was fucking pissed at you. God damn it. I see the movies the first day, so I don't have to get Dan's opinion.
I didn't.
Shut up, Dan. I'm talking. Because Dan's opinion automatically soured me on the movie. I was like, great. I'll fucking hate this now. I literally did. You ruined that.
And it didn't matter. You came out.
You know what, Dan? Did I not for the first time after? I apologize. I understand why you could not control. Now, fuck you, Dan. All right, let's hear from Pugs.
Evil Lurks. Soon to stream on Shudder. So you know how I just said Totally Killer was the highlight of October? That I meant just for slashers. Because when Evil Lurks... I almost had an orgasm in the theater, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. This one takes the fucking cake. I was blown away. I shouldn't be surprised with Homeboy directing Terrified, which is a fucking fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. Support this man. Man... I don't want to give anything away, but it has everything. Like I said, I almost fucking came right in the theater. So give that, do with that information what you will. I did not realize how much I wanted to see a child's head treated like a bag of popcorn until I saw this movie. I laughed my ass off at a certain scene. Let's just say someone's being ragdolled. The dude behind me was like, why is he laughing? Because I was howling. That was too funny. And don't get me wrong, it's serious when it needs to be. It's gory when it needs to be. They got their own set of rules, which I appreciate. Man, this is if you like the sadness, this is like that. It's put this in the same world, maybe. Fucking A. I can't imagine everyone here not liking this movie. I can imagine the outside world saying that this is offensive to me, because this is not for the uninitiated. This is for veterans of fucking gore and horror. Man, this is so good, so fucking good. I can't wait till it gets on Shudder because this one will definitely be the one I watch on Halloween. So get out there and go see this, guys. I shit you not. I'd be surprised if everyone else gives it a different number than I'm about to give it. This is a 5 out of 5. Loved it.
Well, obviously, Dan, you're a 5 out of 5 too.
I'm just gonna give this a 6. I'm just gonna.
So Dan gives it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. Dan, stop breaking the rules, you fuck.
All right.
For this, I'm breaking.
Dan always rewrites the rules. He does it in every.
Let's make it a 7.
All right, 5 from Dan.
8.
You know what, Dan? Every number you would go above 5 gets subtracted from someone else's vote, so it gets an even lower overall. Yeah. There you go, done.
Perfect. I'll just leave it there.
Okay, you can do that.
I'm a 4.5 out of 5, but there's definitely some room to grow. I do want to watch it a second time for sure. Like I said, I think the biggest one of the issues could be I was tired as fuck too. I went through some strenuous activities beforehand, so I was a little tired when I was watching it. But 4.5 out of 5. It's definitely one of the most brutal fucking movies you can see this year. And I mean, if you're, like I said, if you're able to go see it before it leaves theaters, go do that, because I guarantee you it'll probably be one of the best theater watches you've had all year.
Okay. Well, there you go. Did I say 5 also? If I didn't,
No.
it's a 5 for me too. I love this thing.
Yeah, and I won't be surprised if I get to a 5 on the second viewing. Like it's one of those movies you watch it and you're like, yeah, I need to see it a second time. But 4.5 out of 5 for me for now. You two have, or the three of us have almost a full hole. It's like a hole, and then like they have like a little bit of a prolapse, so it's like kind of linked over.
Yes. Dan?
Yes.
Quick amendment. Flip the last two. Do Beaten to Death. I got to bow out real quick, okay?
Oh, okay.
So just, move on to Beaten to Death. I know we're flipping the last two.
Oh, that's fine. We'll do that.
I just want to make sure you're good before I disappear real quick. Sorry, guys.
Cool. That's cool.
Live programming alteration.
It's a long show, so that's all right. But yeah, no. I'm gonna start the flock now. Since we're talking about it in chat, you can't be in it, Todd, because you talk too much shit. So you could have been my sick boy, but you don't get to be sick.
You do understand? I want no part of any group you're putting together. Correct?
The flock.
No, I'm not involved.
You're just upset because you're not in the flock, Todd. That's fine.
Yeah, that's exactly. You're right. You got it, Dan.
I am right, Todd. No flock for you. Anybody in the chat want to be in the Hatman flock?
Get to the review, please.
All right, Todd. Always rushing brilliance, Todd. All right, so our next movie of the evening. Oh, Ben, don't ask me that. You know what that is. Director Sam Curtin's Beaten to Death, which follows a desperate choice leads Jack down a path that leaves him beaten and bruised as he struggles against man, nature, and his own insanity. So this is, there you go, Chris, you're in the flock. There you go. So this film is an Australian horror film, and so essentially the title is very fitting. I'll just say there's not a whole lot in the way of story here, to be honest, to set this up, but something goes awry. It's very non-linear storytelling, which doesn't work for it, in my opinion.
Give me the hot tag, Dan.
Oh, you want to go first up? Hot tag, go for it.
Fuck this fucking movie, dude. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, this movie was so fucking annoying. First off, fucking the promotion for this, the best new extreme horror, and all this fucking bullshit. I absolutely hated this thing. Like, yeah, there's some good gore in certain aspects, but those aspects are like literally like a half a second of a scene. The best credit I can give it is there's a very cool scene where somebody gets their eyes stabbed out, and you see the POV of them getting their eyes stabbed out. That was cool. But then you were sitting there for fucking 2 minutes while this guy's and it's just it becomes annoying. And this whole movie just, to me, was fucking annoying as fuck. It's basically this guy and these over dramatized slow motion scenes of him escaping somewhere just to be taken back, and then escaping somewhere just to be taken back. And the writing just fucking sucks. And then you're sitting there and you're like, oh, let me feel for this guy a little bit. And they give you this flashback scene of him falling in love with his girlfriend who can't sing for shit. Jesus fucking Christ. Her fucking voice was so goddamn annoying in that singing scene. I was just like, dude, fucking come on. Like, let's move it on here. And that's just kind of how the whole movie felt for me. There's a lot of these over dramatic, dramatized shots of this guy just sitting here weeping. It's fucking stupid. And it's crazy to me because I looked on Letterboxd and I looked at all the reception about this movie beforehand, and it's fucking widely like positive. I felt like I saw a different movie than everybody else. I think this shit was annoying. It has a couple of decent gore scenes, one very good POV scene where somebody's getting their eyes stabbed out. But as far as the story, as far as fucking almost everything else. This shit sucked. And I was so disappointed because I was extremely excited about this film. Watching the trailer and then hearing about all this is the next great extreme horror hype into it. I came in expecting to get my ass kicked, and instead it was like a little kid that like just like kind of kicks you in the shin real quick. Like I hated it. I think my rating may not be as low as what like I'm talking about, but that's mainly because of that POV scene. I thought that POV scene where the guy got his eyes stabbed out was very cool, but outside of that, everything else fucking sucked. And this was a slog to get through. It was a pain, and just by the ending also just like really pissed me off because the whole movie, me and my chick were watching it and we're just like, when is somebody gonna get beaten to death? When is somebody gonna get beaten to death? And like, yeah, you eventually get that, but then when you get it, you're just like, oh, so that's it? Really? All right, fuck off. So as a whole, not a fan of this movie whatsoever. I think it boggles my mind, the reviews that I've like looked at on Letterboxd, because you would think this is like the next best fucking horror movie when you look at those. But for me, disappointment, and just honestly, more than anything, this movie is fucking annoying.
I don't think the non-linear storytelling, the flashbacks, I don't think it really works for this movie, because every time like I'm supposed to be feeling some suspense, I'm like, okay, so I know he's going to be here, so none of this really means anything. There is some effective torture, I guess. Again, we know he loses his eyes. Like they kind of tip their hat to that. So it's like, okay, they don't utilize the Outback. Like I've heard a lot of people already starting to compare this to Wolf Creek, and I'm
God.
I never felt that sense where the Outback itself was a character. Like you forget all the bad shit that happened to him, which by the way, he was a dead man before he'd ever get as far as he did based on the injuries he suffered. But that's another story. The Outback was a character in Wolf Creek. It really doesn't utilize that at all. I mean, it's just this story of him dealing with this psychopath, and then, other things evolve. It felt like a short film, another one where there just isn't a whole lot of story. The lead actor is fine. Honestly, his name's Thomas Roach. He's good, but they didn't give me much of a reason to care about him. We spend so much time with this movie, and it's like, okay, we get this one scene. All right, there's your girlfriend.
Yeah,
we know what happens to her, so we're not that emotional.
Well, and here's my issue is just like they expected, oh, well, he has a girlfriend all of a sudden for us to feel for him. And like we didn't get really that any scenes with them, like, being in this loving relationship. It's very much he met her, and then here's the reason why they're fucked. And like maybe if you would have had some shit where she was pregnant, or like they were expecting a kid, that's why they were trying to fucking get this money, that shit would have like made you feel for them more. But they gave you none of that. And at the end of the day, I'm like, well, fuck this chick, dude. She sucks at singing. Just fucking bash her head in a couple more times. I could give a fuck less.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why at least some people are loving this. I mean, it's well shot, I guess. Like I said, the actors are all very good. The one villain, or actually, well, the one villain is extremely intimidating, but they don't do anything interesting with it. It's like you said, it's just like, okay, these time jumps are killing any real suspense, and again, it's not real. It's not realistic. He was way too fucked up to continue on at a certain point. I agree. This one was disappointing. It's an up and down kind of show, but the ups are very high and the downs are very fucking low.
Well, for you, Dan, I kind of go middle and then high, but Yeah, I'm really glad you didn't like this, Kruger, because I fucking hated it. I was like,
I hated it.
I'm glad. No, I heard the tail end when I was getting set back up, so I was really glad because
Well, dude, and you know how excited I was for this.
I
stuff.
do. That's why I was worried.
Fucking clamoring for this piece of
You've been
fucking
bugging.
dog shit for the last couple of months. Like the second I saw the next best extreme horror, and then I watched the trailer, I'm like, oh, this is gonna really like fuck me up.
Bro, I can see this would cut a great trailer.
Yeah, it did.
I could definitely see it would. But well, we got one more. Let's see what Pugs thinks.
All right.
Beaten to death. What an aggravating and entertaining journey this was. This movie's peaks and valleys are fucking enormous. But it's in a good way, because I guess I'm just that invested where I want the story to progress and to move and to know what the fuck is going on. Man, the performance of actually everybody in there, but like the main character, the guy, I felt for him. The dog, I love dogs. He was awesome. The antagonist, everyone did their fucking job. This movie also has one of the coldest things I've ever seen. Throwing the corpse of a loved one at you is pretty fucking hardcore, and I want to see that more often in horror. that was pretty fucking cool. But yeah, the peaks and valleys of this movie are fucking aggravating. But I guess I'm just so invested that it just made me feel. So that's to its credit, I guess. Because when it's good, it's fucking good. But but it's not boring. So I think my aggravation just lies with I want to know. Because this movie's really, really good, and I hope it finds its audience because it deserves it. Very minimal. The effects, man. This movie is called Beaten to Death, and they show you a beating several times, and then they do deliver what's promised, which I appreciate. Take some twists and turns, again, peaks and valleys, but this is really good, and I'd highly recommend this movie. I'm still frustrated a little bit, but I do like it, and I will watch it again. So I shall rate it right now. This movie is a 4 out of 5.
Wow.
Damn.
I think Pugs was smoking a little bit of the crack from Uncle Schlack before, but
Schlack is straight edge, Kruger.
You may have hit the right high. It happens. It may have happened to Pet Sematary Bloodlines for me, but it happens. I'm just gonna go out on a limb right now and say that's the highest rating of this film for anyone.
yeah, for sure.
Kruger, what are you giving it?
I'm a 1.5, and like honestly, it would have been a half star if I didn't have that fucking knife stabbing POV. I thought that shit was really cool. Whenever I decide to write a fucking slasher film, I probably steal that from them just because they pissed me off so much about this fucking movie. But yeah, 1.5 out of 5. And to be honest with you, if you're an extreme horror fan and you're going into this expecting extreme horror film, go watch Saw X instead. There you go. You'll get your fucking extreme horror from that, not from this.
Yeah,
all right.
I agree with you on that. I'm actually kind of feeling like watching that again in the theater one more time. Saw X.
Yeah,
I feel like watching 2, then seeing it again just to connect everything. But
yeah.
It's a light week. I might do that.
I'd go back and see When Evil Lurks again if I could, but
I was looking at that too because I was trying to find a movie to time out with. There's another movie I want to see. But that again, that's one. There's like one showing at one time. I couldn't time it out with anything because that's what I definitely would have watched again too. Because
what did we rate this yet? Because
I just did. We're not.
You did, but I don't think we did. Did we?
No, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan, what do you rate it? Since you're really excited to rate it.
Oh no, I'm not that excited. 1.5 sounds good. It's a good looking movie. It's acted well, but it's a road to nowhere.
Throw me in the fucking 1.5. Yeah, the effects are great. I mean, they still they're still. It's the
but
story
it's not even. But the thing is, and I feel like Pugs' review may sway some people. This isn't an effects filled film either. It's very minimal, and like you get some guts, you get some eye gore here and there, but outside of that, I mean, I don't understand who the fuck would call this extreme horror. I mean, yeah, you have torture scenes and shit, but
Well,
this
that's the thing that lines into.
yeah, but this ain't no fucking extreme horror, dude. Don't fucking put my goddamn beautiful label on shit like this. Leave it for August Underground Mortem, motherfucker.
They suffer a lot more in those for sure.
All right, yeah, yeah. I'm
You
not
should
looking
have
forward to
shit
that.
in his eye wounds. God damn it!
Yeah.
I don't know. I did. You guys want me
Fucking
to
amateurs.
wait me to watch those things? It'll be interesting.
Todd, you will fucking love them, and if you don't, then I don't know. How
I've
our
had
friendship
zero.
fucking-
I've had zero interest in watching them since the day they came out.
Well, Todd, there's no way you don't fucking love them.
It's like Gonzo porn. I don't give a shit. Give me a plot.
There's a fucking plot there.
Okay, well,
Let's
I'm
do-
agreeing to watch them when
Let's
the
do inappropriate double features. Let's do August Underground Mortem and something with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. Sleepless in Seattle. We'll have the inappropriate double feature night.
All right. Well,
there we go. I'm gonna
Yeah.
fucking do that. I'm gonna find a way to do Sleepless in Seattle now. But anyways, not starring Meg Ryan is our next film, which is VHS 85. This is streaming on Shudder now, and unveiled through a made-for-TV documentary, 5 tales of found footage horror emerge to take viewers on a terrifying journey into the grim underbelly of the 1980s. Directed by David Bruckner, Scott Derrickson, Natasha Kermani, Mike P. Nelson, and Gigi Saul Guerrero.
It's funny that it's funny, like you have like 2 heavy hitters and then like 3 people that really haven't done much. I mean, Gigi's done some stuff, but the other 2.
Yeah, you mentioned El Gigante, which is
well, and she did a solid Into the Dark too, Gigi.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though. I'm not like seeing her name pops up, and I'm like, I don't think she's done anything that's like blown my mind yet.
El Gigante blew my fucking mind, but outside
that's a short feature film, though, I should say. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll start with me. So we'll just start with the first segment. So I don't know the official name of it, but we'll just call it The Lake. I thought this segment was cool. I dug all the like the 80s style characters that were in it, but
it's no wake, just
no wake. There you go. Okay, so no wake. Yeah, I liked all the 80s style characters. I liked the setting and stuff. At one point, I thought this may have been a sequel to another segment, which when I was talking to my buddy about the VHS movies, I think that would be cool if we eventually like got to the point in VHS where we had sequels to segments or prequels. That could be very, very cool, because I thought this was going to be I forgot what the fuck they called it, but it was the first VHS when they went to the lake and it was that killer that like couldn't see. I thought this was like with the setup and everything.
Continuation.
I thought it was going to be a continuation. Wasn't that? Has some good gore, some solid jaw blown off gore too. That scene specifically was very cool. But then my biggest issue with this segment is just like, so they do like part 1 and then they fucking like put the end of this segment towards the end of the, like, I think it was like after the 3rd segment. I thought that was stupid. Like, yeah, you should have just fucking had it all together, because I think like having that one part and then you being like, what the fuck, that's it, and then it coming back kind of hurt it a little bit.
Well, that kind of I get like it's kind of like the feel of the mixtape that we're given.
No, I get that too. They did a similar thing with 99 where they like the wraparound turned into the 4th segment before the 5th one in.
Right.
But for me, like I think just as a whole, the segment would have flowed better, would have felt better for me, and I would have enjoyed it more if it was all together. But at the end of the day, I still liked it. Especially the second half. I like the first half had me, oh, what the fuck? That's it. But then like bringing it back around, I thought that fucking whole ordeal that happens, we'll just call it a shootout scene. Very, very fucking cool. So at the end of the day, I like the segment quite a bit, but it was it only being half done as the first segment had me a little bit worried. And I will say that, like, I think the second half of this VHS movie is way better than the first.
Okay. Todd, generally speaking, what do you think?
Well, we're
We're
going
doing by segment.
by segment,
you're going
motherfucker.
segment. I'm sorry, it's a long
That's
show.
why Kruger took the lead. He has the segment.
I thought you were tagging. My bad.
No. Well, I know I didn't tell Pugs that, so he's just going last. I don't know how he did it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't bother me that it was split up. And I did really like it as a whole. So if I'm just going on this segment, I did enjoy it.
Mhm.
I did like this story. I mean, I don't really have much on this one specifically, but I mean, the overall, like, not really the overall, but like this is the beginning stuff. So I did really like the setup and concept. It was a little different.
Mhm.
It was a little, I am by no way saying they took any influence from it, but it is very WNUF, like
Yeah.
the sequel, and it's very spooky dooky. I mean, I'm not saying they obviously borrowed from that, but I mean
Sid format.
Yeah, it is. And I love that format. So going in with that, and normally I'm like over the like, let's just film or make this look like old shitty VHS for the sake of it. I think in this instance it worked, and I don't know if they did it the right way, because there is a right way and wrong way to do fake VHS. Like, you literally put it on a VHS to make it look right. And I feel like they did, because this had that right via, at least on some of the segments, because some were also film, like, but either way.
The filter, like, from start to end, I thought everything looked like it was something that was filmed on a VHS tape from the 80s. So
and I think, because you can like do it and then put it on tape and then put it back, and that's how you make it look right. And that's what I felt like happened. But anyway, first segment, awesome. I enjoyed it. Dan, what about you?
So going into this, VHS overall has been a really solid franchise for me. Viral is the only one that I thought was crap.
Me too.
I think the highlight, and they've been chasing it ever since, is VHS 2, specifically the Timo Janto segment, Safe Haven. I still think it is the greatest segment in any of the VHS movies. I love
his other one too in '94 was phenomenal. The cyborg one. Oh my god.
I was gonna say that ranks pretty fucking high too. If you were putting a master anthology together of all the movies, he'd probably have 2 in there. And I'm disappointed he didn't come back. Oh, go ahead.
No, Slasher says they finally did 4x3. They usually don't, and I like that. I agree. This is the first. This is going to be weird to say. It's the first VHS that felt like a VHS.
Yeah,
in the format.
I agree. I mean, as a whole, I can't say this is my favorite, but I thought just the opening segment, first off, some great
we're just
gore.
doing the first segment right now, Dan.
Some great gore. I thought it was really interesting. I kind of had some American Werewolf in London vibes, that strangeness there. Where they kind of go with this story. I agree. I can see some other people having issues with the start and then the stop, but I think they tied it in. The problem is they tie it into something that's not, to me, as interesting by itself. But we'll get into that more. I think first segment was actually very good.
All right. Well, moving on to the second segment, which there we go. Said I saw the first VHS in theater and was underwhelmed. Haven't gone back since. See, Daily Ghost, for me, the first VHS has one great segment, which is the siren segment. And then outside of that, the rest of them kind of fall off. But VHS 2, Todd, you're muted. VHS 2, I think, is like the highest. Okay.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, like I love that siren segment, but then everything else in that first movie is very kind of mid. But then the second one, I mean, it just hits you in your ass the whole fucking time. Minus Adam Wingard's segment. I think he had the opening segment with the eyeball. That was a little lame, but the other three segments were fucking solid as shit. So moving on to the second segment, and this is the one by Gigi, and it is Dan,
God of Death.
God of Death. Yeah. So this one, all right. So I kind of fucked myself a little bit. At first, I thought they were gonna go full Cloverfield with like the whole fucking there's a building falling down on people and maybe like this natural disaster that's happening. I thought there was going to be a fucking giant monster outside. So I was hoping for that. We didn't get that, but what we did get was pretty cool still. I like the whole I don't know. Again, pardon me if I'm butchering the lore or whatever this story was around, but I think it's like an Aztec god.
McClellan.
Yeah. It basically revolves around this Aztec god fucking being brought back to life. And when he does, granted, I kind of wanted him to look a little bit cooler. I think he looked a little basic, but everything that we got with that was very dope. Lots of good gore in this segment as well. And as a whole, I enjoyed this segment, but I feel like this whole movie, it was very much like the first two were kind of lukewarm, and then it really gets into it after that. But what'd you say this segment was called again, Dan?
God of Death.
God of Death. As a whole, God of Death is solid, but if I was to rank it like as far as VHS segments, it probably would be like mid to lower tier.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's kind of a nothing story. This one's more or less like some cool visuals, some nice gore. But it's kind of a nothing story. Like it just kind of left me somewhere in the middle. It doesn't do anything particularly wrong. I like the earthquake aspect of it. I don't know, maybe if this was a feature, they could have expanded more, but as a story, I just didn't think there was a whole lot to this. We do get a little bit of skin in this, which is always nice. That's pretty rare, even in the.
You'd bring that up,
of course. If he wasn't, I was.
It's a visual. The story is kind of non-existent, but you get some gore, you get some nudity. I had no issues with it. Just not much of a story.
It's a fine entry in the. In an anthology. It's not horrible. It doesn't really fuck up the flow. I had no issues with it. It's just, it feels like a little more filler than some of the other shows.
Yeah, it's definitely a filler segment.
Yeah. So
all right, and then moving on to the third segment, which is Dan related to Mr. Skin, the Daily Ghost House?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so this third segment, Dan, give me the official thing. It's the VR one.
Yes, it is from director Natasha Cremoni, and it is TKNOGD.
All right, so TKNOGD, aka TK No God. Man, I hated the fuck out of this thing for like the first probably 8 minutes, and then it kicked in to what the actual concept was, and then I was totally in. I love the VR thing. I love the whole twist on it. I just felt like maybe there was too much, I don't even know what you would call it, but there's too much introduction to get to the fucking meat of the story. But once you get to the meat, it's pretty goddamn fucking great. I love the VR demon. The gore we got in this was fucking pretty goddamn brutal and badass. And I also love the iPhone thing. The iPhone thing cracked me the fuck up, where they called the VR headset iPhones.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty funny. And just as a whole, for a segment within the first 6 minutes, I hated it. By the end, I enjoyed it a lot. So
good.
A lot. This one, I wonder if like some younger horror fans maybe just don't get it, but I loved, because I vividly remember virtual reality was going to be like this big thing, and some of those early well, it goes back earlier than that, but that kind of period in the late 80s, particularly early 90s, where we had a lot of VR stuff, Lawnmower Man and
Tron.
Dan was like,
Arcade.
I can't wait till I get my virtual girlfriend. I could swear that when VR was
Yeah,
coming
but you
out,
wouldn't
Dan
feel
was
it.
Dan,
Do
you
you
weren't
like-
planning on it.
I
Tony,
feel
Dan,
like
if you put a
goes
pocket
back-
pussy on top of you, like, and just turn
Yeah.
that fucker on to suck the shit out of you, you'll be all right.
It would be like
Kruger, come on, we're on the main show. Bring it down a notch.
We'll
I can't
talk
yell at him, but
on Patreon. We'll talk more about VR
no.
sex versus like sex bots.
Yeah.
I'm more of a sex bot guy.
Well, yeah, but back
Yeah.
then you didn't have a sex bot option. It was a VR
I mean-
girlfriend or nothing.
Yeah,
Shit, dude, you had a fucking blow up doll. What the fuck are you talking about? You had to buy that shit fucking looking like you're fucking.
Todd and I bought one together for a wrestling spot. So we did.
Actually,
buy a
that's
girl
not even
doll.
true, Dan. That's the one my wife gave.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It was a gag gift. Yeah.
It was
can
it didn't
see-
even have any holes. I was so mad.
You can see.
Didn't even have a mouth hole.
It had no holes. It was
It
just
had
What
no
the fuck
holes.
is that?
it was just
It
an
was-
inflatable BBW. I was
Yeah.
offended.
And Michael O'Garo, it should have been an Aussie spot, but Michael O'Garo like started crying in the ring when BC Killer gets thrown through it. It actually gets popped by, I think, glass, because he goes through like a glass door or something. I don't remember how it went, but we got to have that clip.
See, that's
ready.
not the see. If you want to do another blow up doll wrestling related story, I did own briefly the Christy Mist blow up doll, but I gave it to a friend as a gag gift. I got
Yeah.
them cheap because it was after she was already like, but can you shit, that would be going Schlack could perform with Christy Miss Butthole live. Unfortunately.
There's also a Bridget the Little Person. I guess we got Bridget the Little Person.
I just saw a new picture of her today. She's touring with Micromania.
Oh, really? Okay.
So now that we've completely gone off topic,
we're talking about dwarf erotica. So we're way off track. How do we get from virtual reality to that? Shut up, Todd. You're always derailing the show with your sexual deviancy. I don't appreciate it. But anyways, back to this story. So yeah, this whole like stage show poetry jam thing. I really liked it. I don't know that this is going to play as well for everybody. I thought it was clever. It's not like a top tier VHS story, but I enjoyed it. I think it's going to have mixed reviews, but when she finds God, so to speak, I think that part was a lot of fun. It's a short segment. I felt like it's a kind of a brief little gimmick, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. I had fun with it. Some people are going to think this one's stupid, though. I can feel that.
It was a little stupid, but it's kind of like I had no problems with it. It's another one. This one, I'm kind of like we're starting to warm up a little more. But no, yeah, I like this one. I don't really have a lot on it.
All right. So moving on to the next one, which is the one done by Mr. Scott Derrickson.
Dream Kill.
Dream Kill.
Yes.
Holy fucking shit, man. I loved the hell out of this segment. Definitely probably my favorite segment of the whole movie, but we do still have another good one at the end. Man, just I love the concept of this, where like a cop is getting tapes sent into him about murders that haven't happened yet. And I mean, some brutal fucking murders too, man. I mean, we got some fucking American guinea pig blood and bouquet of guts and gore type gore in this segment with the tapes that the killer was sending the cop, which surprised the fuck out of me. I mean, this segment, I think, will definitely go down as one of the more gory segments of VHS history. And yeah, I love the fuck out of it. the twist at the end, I feel like a lot of people are going to go either one way or the other with that, but I actually was really compelled with it. And I just, as a whole, fucking love this segment. My favorite of the movie. And definitely, like, if again, I talked about this before, if we're going to rank all the VHS segments of all time, this would be in the upper tier for me.
I'm not going to argue with that. It was definitely, this is 100% my favorite of the anthology. It's one I wish was its feature on its own.
Oh yeah. And did you hear that Scott Derrickson did say that this technically does take place in the same universe as the Black Phone?
I did not, but very cool. Yeah, this was just, yeah, it was fantastic. Dan, what about you? What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think we actually the party portion came before. This is where I get a little mixed up where I'm at.
Oh no, the end of segment 1, yeah. Right before this.
Yeah, so I should say that's we get the tie-in to the first segment, which ties it up well, but that portion of it was a little less interesting than
see. And for me, like, that's what made that segment decent for me. I needed more than just that ending, and I'm glad they went that way. Granted, it's very 2023, and it
felt kind of like New Coke Society. Like, I don't know. I was like, give me a little bit more with what's going on with these people.
Yeah.
And I like the tie-in, but anyways, that's
back to Scott Derrickson's.
Yeah. Sure. I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't know, top tier for me. I feel like they spent a little less money on this movie. I didn't think that there was that segment where, where we go to hell, or like some of this like really high concept stuff, or like I said, Safe Haven, which is
I'm glad, being 85, I'm glad it kind of didn't get too I don't know. There's something about the way it was grounded versus some, like, I think some of the other ones.
Yeah.
I think some of the other segments, like, what was the one, the machine? I don't know. I think I think the fact and the time frame, it worked the way they did it. I really do.
It's more reserved, but that's not to say that it's not good. And yeah, I did enjoy the whole cop segment. There's some fun gore there. Everything ties in quite well. And I don't want to give away too much to talk about the story in this one, but I did enjoy it quite a lot.
Well, we got one last segment.
So this is Derek Bruckner's segment.
Total Copy.
David Bruckner, Total Copy, yes.
Yep. And so this was kind of the wraparound, but it gave us a good portion at the end. And during the wraparound, I was very curious to see where the fuck this was going to go, because I had no idea. But goddamn, I love the fuck out of this one too. First off, David Bruckner, fucking VHS royalty, because he created the Siren segment in the first film. And I was excited to see him return to this franchise, and I was
feature length, which we need more of.
Yeah, the Siren movie fucking sucks. Though. But still, I was excited to see him return to the VHS franchise, and I mean, I think he knocked it out of the park with this one. This was straight up something out of a David Cronenberg-esque nightmare, and the end scene, the final shot that we're at, had me rolling on the floor, fucking laughing my ass off, just because it, like, you go through all, and a lot of VHS segments will do this. You'll go through all this crazy shit, all this insanity, and then you'll have like this moment of comedy right at the end. And that's exactly what this movie, or what this segment did perfectly. It gave you all this crazy shit, cool creature effects, awesome tentacles flying everywhere, and then the final shot, it just had you like, that's fucking funny. And then it ended the movie. And I thought it was a perfect way to wrap around the whole movie, perfect way to put a bow at the end. And yeah, I loved it.
I'm just gonna assume you did that exact same thing when you were watching that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like this. I think I like the segment previously a little bit better, but I get
Yeah,
why
me
this
too.
is okay. I was gonna say if not, I get why this would have been. Yeah, Dan.
So yeah, that last scene is definitely a knee slapper. I thought it was hilarious.
Knee slapper. Who the fuck says
Knee slapper. I'm
84?
bringing it back, Todd. It's a knee slapper. That's knee slapper. I'm gonna make that a thing. And nifty. You don't like nifty either. It was a nifty.
It shows that you're old as fuck, and Todd's the oldest one on the goddamn show.
Well, to be fair, with Generation X, we turned 30 when we were 10, and we still are. So
a nifty knee
just
slapper.
old fucks.
A
All
nifty
right,
knee slapper. It's
come on, Dan. On topic.
I love the ending. I thought that made me laugh. But it's another one too. Like, I mean, the story itself again is nothing particularly great. I don't know. This wasn't. If it weren't for the ending, I would just be kind of on this story. The ending ties it all together, though. So I enjoyed it. I mean, for me, once again, I like all of the VHS movies except Viral.
I can even watch Viral. It's my least favorite.
Viral has.
I've watched it twice and it didn't hit me at all.
See,
I'm not saying it's great, but I don't hate it.
For me, Viral, I like the skater one. I think that's like the best segment. But then there's one with like a dick monster. That was all right too. But everything else on that thing sucks.
Slasher on Video says the last 3 segments made the movie for me. They were really strong. I think that's pretty much the sentiment.
Yeah,
it's a strong movie overall. I think though, other than Viral, I don't know that there's anything else I would rank this above. And that's not to take anything away from this movie. It's just it's a strong series of films that I tend to like most of them. So
for me personally, like this and 99 are like kind of neck and neck together. I loved 94. I thought 94 was like definitely one of the better VHS, but I agree. Like it's towards the end. I can't decipher if I like 99 or 85 better. Just because they both have some weak segments in there. But I mean, as a whole, VHS is just really, I love the fact that we have a new VHS to look forward to every Halloween season now. I hope that they keep it up with that because, I mean, look at this one. We had 2 pretty fucking heavy hitting directors to come into the franchise. So I hope we get more of that. I mean, I'm sure it's a lot easier for them to do a little segment in VHS than to do a big project. So yeah, let's get some more like big name horror directors. We need to give Steven Kostanski his goddamn fucking segment already. God damn it. Like that motherfucker has been a shoo-in to get a fucking segment for the last like what 15 years or last what I would say 8. When did The Void come out? 17, 18?
I think 18.
Something like that.
At least 5 years ago.
He's been a shoo-in, and he fucking directed the stupid Chop Master commercial in 94. So give Steven Kostanski his goddamn segment already, because I know for a fact he would kill it. He made Ratma, which was the best fucking thing about 94. So I'm going to start my petition now. Give Steven Kostanski his goddamn VHS segment already.
It's a good choice to give a segment to. I agree.
Yeah, and because he can hit the tone like for a fun segment to the bunch, because they always have one that's a little more fun.
Yeah,
Dan,
for sure.
I'm trying to keep us moving. Is it something movie related?
No, yeah, just VHS.
So we still have to hear plugs.
What do you do next?
See, this is we should hear plugs. Let's do that. Okay. Let's hear plugs, rate it, and then we can talk about that. Yeah.
VHS 85 now streaming on Shudder. Well, I think this is a weak entry in the VHS series because they're usually pretty good. And don't get me wrong, it's not a piece of shit by any means, but I think I'm still suffering from anthology fatigue. I know I talked about that either last week or the week before. I just want to focus on one story, one good story. Not to say that this one didn't have some. I liked the Aztec one a lot. I thought that was cool. And then the connecting stories That was pretty fun too. Mostly the second part, the Ruby Ridge, that kind of goody two shoes family thing. That was pretty enjoyable. I do think the opening segment on the lake, a little close to home as an American. We have to fucking worry about that shit happening all the time. People in other places might have to worry about that a little more at the moment, but that's a whole different topic. It's just okay, man. This one wasn't for me, but I hope you guys liked it. I'm gonna keep this one super short. This one, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5.
Wow.
It was lower. Yeah, I know that the boat scene. It was pretty. I was like, all right, I'm a little too high for this. I need.
Yeah. Little
It was a
too.
little intense.
What the fuck is this stupid Netflix documentary I'm fucking watching? I'm watching some fucking Netflix documentary about some dumb rich kid that killed somebody in a fucking boating accident, and his dad
That's
killed him
familiar.
and shit.
It's
yeah.
the Murtaugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was getting those vibes when I watched it. Go ahead.
So, oh no, I was gonna. Yeah, you didn't
Yeah.
rate it yet.
For me, and this may seem high, but it's mainly because of the last two segments. I'm a 4 out of 5, and that's literally what I've given almost every single VHS minus Viral and VHS 2, which I gave a 4.5 out of 5. So, yeah, I love these. Keep them coming. Fucking, as a found footage fan, I feel like this is probably the biggest found footage thing I have to look forward to every year, and I want more of them. I don't know where we go next, but take me there.
There you go. There's your answer, Dan.
I'm,
what do you? Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna throw it to you.
I'm a 3 out of 5. I think it could have kicked my ass a little bit more in a few spots, but as a whole, I did enjoy it a lot. But lower down the list for me.
Yeah, I'm exactly with you, Dan. I'm a 3 on it. I had a good enough time. I'd say if you're a fan of the series, check it out. And I know Pugs brought up the anthology fatigue, and I get that. For me, the fatigue comes in of those anthology movies that aren't really anthology movies. That's what I'm.
Together.
Yeah. Where or even if they even have some that are set out to be an anthology, but they don't bother with the wraparound. Like, what the fuck is? It's a collection of short films, if not. You know.
Yeah. There's a lot where they literally are collections of short films where you'll get some like, hey, I shot this like 5-minute thing in my garage. We can combine it. That happens a lot.
Even
low
like
budget.
Even like those 1031 films, like I do enjoy them enough, but I feel like that's the category Pugs is talking about. And not only that, it's that one specifically, it's like you get the intro and the credits for every, so it's literally you're watching short films. They all have the same fucking intro. It's like, what is the point?
There's some good stuff to be found in those 1031 films.
Oh no, I'm not saying there's not.
They're a little bit overhyped.
I agree.
I'm kind of like, I don't think any of those are like great in my opinion, but
yeah, there's some cool stories in them. I mean, they're
you
know, the appeal of a Halloween set anthology is always going to be appealing. I mean, I'm gonna watch it, just because.
Speaking of which, we're gonna have to review Dark Harvest, which feels like I've been waiting for forever. It's been like shot for like 5 years, I think, but that's a adaptation of the Norman Partridge Halloween novel that finally, I guess, is out there. I saw some reviews for it. But I got to ask you this. Do we kind of forsake the VHS gimmick and attempt a VHS movie that takes place before VHS?
So
just fuck the gimmick. It's like, yes, we know that technology wasn't around in, I don't know, VHS 69 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, no, then you just do it on 8mm, but then it's not VHS anymore. Kind of like,
yeah, that's what
although
I'm saying.
technically you have other forms of media throughout these. I think the fact that they finally did VHS and went that multimedia, like, WNUF or WNF, I gotta watch that new one. It's yeah, and I think I like that. So I don't know if I'm ready for just like, uh, I still like. There's the way this found footage is set up. You can do it over and over. 91, give me a 90s one. That honestly, we've done one already.
Yeah.
94, but
94, 99.
Do I sound okay?
No.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, sorry.
Fuck.
I mean,
It's all right. We'll continue. Yeah, 8mm 58. Yeah, because I don't want it to be a case where it's a haunting in Connecticut 2, a haunting in fucking Georgia, because then it's just really fucking stupid.
which is not a bad little movie, but yeah,
It's not. Just call it a fucking haunting in Georgia.
Haunting in Connecticut, Ghosts of Georgia, I think it was.
Yeah, haunting in Connecticut 2 goes. Yeah, again, that's what I don't want. Just call it 8. Well, then call it 8mm. You got another movie we're thinking of, but you get my drift. 16mm. There you go.
Do I sound okay?
You sound good.
Now you're good. There you go.
But no,
Awesome.
yeah. So I don't know. Ask Kruger what he thoughts. Like,
What?
Do you go before VHS was a format to get an interesting time period to tell some stories in?
No, I think you go sequels. I think the idea of having a sequel to Siren, having a sequel to Safe Haven, having a sequel to Alien Abduction may be a little hard to do now.
Kids.
After Kids versus Aliens, which
Yeah, I was
like
gonna say
the biggest fucking disappointment in the world to me.
You're still mad at that ring, aren't you?
I'm mad at the Ring, and I'm also mad just because I love that segment. I thought it was fucking terrifying as fuck, and they sucked all the horror out of it.
It's funny when you guys brought up the anthology movie spinoffs earlier. I don't want them because they can't. It's like 90s Saturday Night Live movies. They all fucking suck ass.
Well, no, that's why, I think in the format of having having sequels to VHS segments, I think would be decent. I mean, you could just have a little extra part of the story. But Slasher Home Video said I will watch a VHS every year of the 80s and 90s. Yeah,
VHS 91.
Ooh, I've got one.
Okay.
VHS 2001, and you tie in a 9/11 story.
Oh, if you do that, you have to.
Yeah,
that actually would be.
It was the fucking aliens the whole time. See, that would be hilarious, dude. They're on like a fucking. They could totally do that too for a low budget.
You have like a
I want that
kaiju
now.
George Bush. I don't know. Fuck. 2001 would be an interesting year to do it. So 2016 would be interesting too. Like if you want to do like some social commentary, that might be funny. Yeah, all right. I guess we still have some years we can take advantage.
Yeah,
of.
I mean, yeah, especially if you're gonna hit like big events.
Yeah.
So. All right. But yeah, I mean, you can do the concept and do it different times. Just you can throw VHS on somewhere in the title, but yeah, I don't want a haunting in Connecticut too. All right. We go. So we do have one more thing, or a couple. Well, some TV terror talk.
Yes.
So before we do it, because we will be. Are we talking spoil? I mean, is there anything to spoil on this week's?
There's really nothing much to spoil yet. I mean, if you're not caught up on Chucky.
Yeah, well, if you're not caught up on Chucky, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since Pugs is in here, before we do, I'm gonna real quick just my little note on American Horror Story because I'm gonna wait till Pugs is here to talk about it since I think we're the last two standing.
Yeah.
Well, this gives you an opportunity. I think episode 3 is the one that changed my opinion, and I'm invested now. So I'll talk about that more next week. See if Pugs is on, in the same.
I'll watch episode 3 to be a part of that discussion.
Okay, next week we will talk 3 and 4, but at least you'll have your opinion on 3.
I'll watch 3 and 4 then.
Well, if you hate 3, I'm not saying yeah.
All right.
But
Fair enough.
yeah, so that's where I'm at. Okay, so we'll talk more next week. So there is that. It's the episode that made me like invest in it. And like I want to see what's gonna happen. So
So
right.
now
All
we
right,
got
well.
Chucky.
Chucky season 3. So guys, like, this is a spoiler segment. I know a lot of you dropped out at Chucky a long time ago, but just
Did
so
you
you're
catch up,
warned.
man? You caught up?
I did. I caught up with 10 minutes to spare.
Well, let me ask you this then, real
Oh.
quick. Oh, you finally finished season 2. You hate it as much as you started it?
Okay, so here's where I'm at on revisiting it. I had some fun with it, but here's the problem. Anytime where I felt they were building momentum, it starts to go too Seed of Chucky for me, and that does
That's right,
not work.
Yeah, you hate. I
It
forget.
it doesn't work for a weekly TV series. Seed of Chucky is just its own weird thing. You either love it or you don't, and it just goes like full.
But it's part
Seed
of the
Chucky.
universe.
It is
I get
part
it.
of the universe, and I want to say that I respect the hell out of Child's Play that you can watch that first film.
Yeah.
And other than the unconnected remake,
Goddamn cocksucking MGM. That was a dirty fucking move too.
It's fine. It's its own thing, but it keeps.
I like the movie, but it's dirty.
It keeps its continuity from the first. It never reboots itself.
Yeah.
Even though it swerves you to think it's going to.
Yeah, it ties everything in, and I mean, fuck, I do respect that. That's hard to do.
Yeah,
But,
no, like
yeah.
that's probably what I love the most about the series in general. It's like the first season, it's very very like connected to Curse of Chucky and what the fuck, Cult of Chucky. Cult.
Well, yeah. And then
the second season ties in Seed and all that shit. But like for me personally, like I love Seed of Chucky, but I did think some of season 2 like kind of went too Seed of Chucky and threw me off because of the tone of the first one, if that makes sense.
Now I want the Britney cutting to come back.
I realize like this is a movie. I mean, this is a franchise about a killer doll. Bride of Chucky goes a little over the top, but it's like we get to Seed, and I'm like, that's just. That should have just been its own thing. I would have started a Chucky TV series. I would have made some kind of joke about Seed of Chucky, like it was all just a dream or something to that effect. The Glenn and Glenda stuff for me, the Glenn and Glenda stuff is fucking stupid, especially in this show. Ooh. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's just dumb, man. Like it's dumb. I don't know. And you know what? Here's the thing.
You see the Hucky. You don't like Seed of Chucky, you're not going to like that season. It's easy.
No, and we'll see where they go this season. But nobody. Do you know anybody that's talking about season 3? Because I feel like there's a huge drop off. Like I don't know anybody that's watching it now.
I wouldn't go that far. Like,
well,
I know a lot of people that have watched it.
I see people discussing it.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing that. Maybe again, that's just me, but nobody's doing podcasts on it like they were seasons 1 and 2. I think a lot of people dropped off.
I think a lot of people dropped off on season 2. Like I don't. I remember everyone for season 1, but I get what you're saying.
Well, I would say
you got a cat cameo.
Yeah, there you go. I'll even say though, like even season 1. I think they knocked it out. Why the fuck are we looking at your cat's asshole? All right. The first season I thought was strong as fuck, and then I like the last 2 episodes I thought were a little weak. And I feel like with season 2, it kind of carried those last 2 episodes being weak up until probably the last 2 episodes of that season. Then that kind of brought it around and brought me back on it as a whole. But I will agree, like the first season is very, very fucking awesome. And then the second season's a little bit of a dip. Now, for season 3, let's hope, we get back up to where season 1 was. But on that subject, I'll just go into this for episode 1 of season 3.
Murder at 1600, I believe, is the episode name. Yeah.
Cool kill. Rest of it was I was very lukewarm. Granted, like, these characters have grown up, they've done other stuff, they're going the whole social media influencer thing. That's just not my bag. This is very much a show for kids that like are into that scene of social media, into that scene of just our society and nowadays. And I'm like, fucking, I don't even know what now, like 10 years backwards. I'm like,
as
when
we're on YouTube saying it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I still liked it. I still thought it was fine, but just I expected more out of the first episode of season 3 of fucking Chucky, and I didn't get that. I got more of like what we had on the first episode of season 1 of Chucky, which I was expecting way more out of this. Granted, I like where the story's going. We could probably get some pretty crazy shit going on. But side note, I am fucking so over the Devon Sawa thing, dude. Like,
new actor, I agree. I'm like, I love Devon Sawa, but I'm like,
I'm so over it.
Yeah.
It's like he's the same fucking guy. Like it give me somebody new in that role.
Hopefully this presidential segment isn't the if they're going for House Reanimator and they can nail it, I'll take it back. But as of now, I think let's get out of the White House.
It made me want to see the unmade House of Reanimator.
See, for me,
reminding you of something better. That's not what you want to do.
Well, see, for me, like I like the White House stuff, but like then having to deal with all the fucking kids again and having it come together with the story, like at this point, granted, the kid's story isn't finished, but like I'm kind of over them. I don't care about fucking Devin or his boyfriend or his blonde bitch fucking friend. Like, I don't care about any of them anymore. Like, I'm over them. They're not Andy. They will never be Andy for me.
I forgot. Is Andy dead or alive at this point in canon?
I think he's dead.
Didn't Dan, you just watched season 2?
Fuck. I think he killed himself at the end of season 2, didn't he?
I know he drove off a truck, or that was what's her name. Is she alive?
He's fine. No, they're fine. They're both in it.
See, I know they've killed them already.
No.
Once, at least.
Well, they didn't die. No, they're both.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what
they're both out there in the world.
Okay.
I'm gonna say like the acting in this show. You've got different actors that are in an entirely different weight class. Fiona Dorup is fantastic. The two kids, Devin and the main kid, I forget the character name. They're not great. And maybe that's just like, I didn't mind it in season 1, but like they're not great at their roles.
I don't know if they're not great or they're just annoying modern kids.
I don't think they're even annoying. They're just not very good actors.
See, I can't tell which it is for me. Yeah. But I know there's something with them now. At this point, I'm kind of like
I just
roll my eyes when I see them.
I don't care about their relationship. I don't care about their arc. I honestly, if they get killed in the next episode, I'd be fine. I'd rather focus on Fiona Dorup. I'm a big Curse of Chucky guy.
I am too, but I think the legacy character's time, I really kind of feels like it's past. Because, I mean, I want to see him again, but it's like, I don't know if that's what you do. Like, to you know, and I have no problem. Don's always made whatever he wanted to. Like, he's one of the lucky few since since Bride of Chucky. He's been able to make whatever he wants to make. Versus, a lot of other people, I mean, because he owns his property.
And Ben points out, just to answer that more definitively, they just didn't know what to do with their lives now that Chucky was dead. That was like, they kind of just walk off. And
okay, thank you.
I don't feel like I I don't feel like I want him back because he's not a very good actor either. He just didn't grow
Andy?
into a great actor.
He
Yeah,
wasn't a good actor as a kid, but I get
sure.
it's like Phantasm. You just kind of put up with it in those franchises. Mike was never a good actor either.
I think they should have stuck with James LaGrosse.
I've always have to.
I mean, because he grew up, I could easily believe he grew up to be James LaGrosse, and I would have continued with LaGrosse.
100% agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's some like cool shit. There's some great kills that pop up throughout the show, but I've said it before, like if you're going to follow a TV series and all you've got is the occasional cool kill, that's just not enough. And I could be wrong, but like I know Christian Hanahara is a big Chucky guy. I don't think he bothered after season 1. There's a lot. I don't know if I know anybody else that really is following it now.
Me.
Well, yes, but you're a part of Flesh Wound.
But no, I would even if we didn't talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sticking with it.
You
There are moments where
there's
like I said, I just rewatched season 2. I blitzed it, and
I think that might be the way to. I think that watching it, like binging it, might hide a lot of the flaws because you don't have to wait a week to see them. I think that this is a show that might feel better streamed binge than week to week.
There's moments that are a fucking blast. There really are, but then it's like then it comes back to the stupid.
This would make a great fan edit. We can cut the episodes down to 2 movies, and there you go, done. 2 movies.
Maybe you could, and I agree. Like I like Devon Sawa. I'm a big Idle Hands guy.
Oh, yeah.
Devil's Den, another fun one he did. But I'm like, this is just kind of lame. Inserting him into the like, he's not that kind of actor that I feel makes it feel like an entirely different person. The characters are different, but I'm like, I just feel like this is kind of lame. Like, give me somebody else. Put some really cool character actor in there. He also doesn't feel like the president of the United States to me.
No.
I don't know. I think he's miscast in this, but we'll see where it goes. I mean, Chucky in the White House. It's kind of a cool concept. I'm definitely going to watch, and I will put over, even though I didn't like some of the things that happened in season 2. Pretty damn, at least aesthetically, pretty damn good Christmas episode.
Yeah,
they do. Yeah, they do. Like, I don't know. I'm like that half and half.
Here's the thing. I think if they gave you a Chucky a week, like unrelated, like you used to do back in the 80s, every week was a different adventure, whatever. And Chucky was fucking with a different person. I think it would be like a weekly slasher show, which is something they never do now. But I mean, you don't need continuity. You could jump in, watch whenever. Like,
yeah,
I think people would eat that up because it would give them, all that stuff. And then you, like you used to do, and you go back and you revisit a character and stuff like that. Like maybe I'm just watching too much 80s TV now, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like if we would have got, when we wanted a Jason or Freddy series back in the day, that's what we wanted. I mean, so I don't think we were thinking about the continuity like you do now because TV wasn't that way then. You didn't have a storyline that arced unless you were like a soap opera. Everything else was weekly. So,
well, speaking of weekly, man, I'm excited for Creepshow coming back. I think we're only getting like 6 episodes, but
yeah, we need to figure out how the fuck we're doing that. By the way,
it's already on next week's thing, but we'll talk about.
Are we gonna knock it all out?
No, we're doing it weekly. I assumed.
Well, because
I think they're dropping.
they're dropping all 6 at once. That's
okay.
Why.
Then we will talk after. Okay. Then maybe that'll be its own show. Shit. Okay. What I was gonna say is I said that voting was gonna end today, but if you're a Patreon and you haven't voted for we got 2 votes going on right now for Farce, for which movie we're gonna cover at the end of the month. Right now it's tied up between the Co-Ed Zombie Stoner and Slaughterhouse. Frighteners has got a shot. No one's voted for Idle Hands or Tyler Perry. Boo Medea, thank you. So if
Co-ed
you
and the Zombie Stoner deserves. I
Well-
want to see Ozzy watch that the most. So,
well, I between the two, the right two are in the lead. I will say that. But right now it's tied up. So if you're Patreon and you haven't voted, get in there and vote. So hey, you might decide who gets what he has to watch now. And also closing tomorrow. I'm going to close both the votes tomorrow. So our other vote is for Slashtober. You guys get to pick the final movie, and we have in the lead Happy Birthday to Me with 57% of the votes, and then 14% each. We have three-way tie of House on Sorority Row, The Pool, and The Final Girls. So, well, Happy Birthday is probably going to win unless you guys get any more votes. You got till tomorrow. If you're a Patreon, go vote. And
you can sign up. Only
Yeah.
just $1. Patreon.com/fleshwoundfeatures. So
all right.
yeah.
Anything
And
else, gentlemen?
Slashtober isn't too far off. So that's our
Are we just
annual-
going to bullshit 10 more minutes and give us 3 hours? Jesus.
I was gonna say this show, like we were doing so much, I'm like, I think it's gonna be right around 3. And we were a little bit earlier, but Melissa's talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, which that's day and date, right?
Yes. Tickets are
I
on
don't know.
sale. I already got my tickets. Well, they're doing early showings. We might like 2 p.m. So I'm like, yeah.
Mhm.
I also got my Killers of the Flower Moon and my Marvels tickets. I know Dan's excited. I know he's got all those books.
Yeah, I'm seeing that 3 times, Todd.
IMAX 3D. Right in the center.
Marvel is like Marvel and DC, it's like Dumb and Dumber right now. It's like let's make it so you have to let's just greenlight this thing that's connected to a show that nobody watches. And
I'm convinced I'm the only person looking forward to this. I love Captain Marvel. I've not hit it. I've always loved it since this came out. I watched it like 4 or 5 times in the theaters. It's the It's the 90s nostalgia, though. I mean, it is. It's basically a buddy movie with her and fucking Samuel Jackson. God, now I kind of watch it. And I didn't have a problem with the Miss Marvel show. So I think I'm the only one who actually wants to see this movie, but it's not going to be 90s nostalgia. So we'll see. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you have fun, Ted.
Did you talk to? I know I will. Did you talk to Friday the 13th show? Are we talking the OG one?
Which is Friday the 13th. The series is amazing.
It was a lot of it, and I admit I was the age. I was like, I watched the pilot. There was no Jason. I tuned out. I didn't watch it again till reruns. And I had a weird thing with that show because I'd watched all of the first season, and then I kind of like get distracted by something else. And then you remember when Chiller debuted, and that was one of the main shows.
Chiller turned around the perception, I think, of Friday the 13th.
Well, that and Freddy's Nightmares too. They used to play on there.
Yes, I still have a DVR, a TiVo that I didn't get rid of because it has every episode of Freddy's Nightmares, there's every episode of Friday the 13th, Tales from the Dark Side, Monsters, and the ECW One Night Stand pay-per-view, the OG one.
The first 2 seasons of Friday the 13th, it does dip a little in season 3.
No. But real
the first
quick,
2 seasons are as good as it gets.
No, that's what I was going to do. I just want to finish this part. And then I get through the second season. And when it was on Chiller, I got through the whole season. And then the second season, I still have not seen the third season that everyone shits on.
All right. Well, oh, God.
But no, I was like, I do feel like it's a one I need to revisit.
I'm going to say, Todd, I mean, we should just do it.
I'm down.
I mean, we did fucking Freddy's Nightmares, goddamn it.
You didn't do the last one.
Shut the fuck up, Dan. We weren't talking about that, all right?
This month, maybe next month. It's all right. Our Secret Santa's going to be in December.
Oh, I'm all in for the Friday the 13th series. I mean, shit, you're going to have Crystal Lake, I guess, at some point. So
It's okay. There we go. Me and Kruger will get on that one.
Yeah, maybe we'll get Dan in there too.
Friday the 13th, I'm down. Freddy's Nightmares.
It's a commitment, though, Dan.
Yeah, dude, it's a strong commitment, motherfucker. Because I'll tell you, dude, like halfway through fucking Freddy's Nightmares, when we got to season 2, holy fucking moly.
You know you want a beefy boy right now.
Dude, if I fucking never see Beefy Boy again, I will be fucking
we got to get Ed to redraw that so we can make a Beefy Boy shirt. I just thought of a great parody shirt.
See, now I need like
now I need the Beefy Boy. No, we'll do one of all of us. We'll each be the Beefy Boy.
No, we gotta have like Beefy Boy, and then it's Dan's head in a hamburger, and then like I have my claws like right through the front.
Okay, I got like, did I take drugs? I did. Never mind. I was like,
did I take drugs? Oh shit, yeah.
It's a safe bet.
Because that Beefy Boy idea, I'm like thinking of images. Oh, that's offensive.
Dude, I still want my Dan and me headless fucking goddamn shit. I need to get somebody to draw that up.
You know what I need to finally watch this year? And I thought about this.
Found and Headless, you fucking son of a bitch.
I'll find the Blu-ray. Oh, God damn it. I just looked back and I forgot that fucker was there.
You never watched Found, Todd? Found's good.
I still not watched
Found. We've been shouting that out I've been shouting it.
I know it. It's every time. I still haven't watched it.
Headless is better, but yes.
13 years. I know, Cliff, he won't give us the Gay He for Fahey shirts. I keep asking. He won't do it.
Maybe if you buy a fucking shirt, he will.
I will buy a Gay He.
No, you will buy a fucking Only Dan shirt, you cocksucker, because
no, he just has to buy a Flesh Wound shirt. That's all I want.
You can have Flesh Wound over.
Dan, once I see an order for your shirt,
I can't. I don't know what it is about that store. It won't let me order. I keep them like, what the fuck?
I think he's just full of shit.
I think it's
I'll try it again. But
here's what I'll do. If Dan buys a shirt, I'll release a special promo code for discounts on shirts.
There you go. See, now this is even more of a fucking.
So now, if Dan doesn't,
if Dan doesn't, you're fucked. So
I will buy it if you make a Gay He for Fahey t-shirt.
No, you will buy it for the goddamn Only Dan.
I will just PayPal you if I have to, and you.
Nope.
Can ship me
listen,
my
Dan.
shirt.
I will even make the discount code and give it to you to buy the shirt so it's even cheaper before I give the discount code to the public.
Well, if it lets me do it,
I didn't get that.
I want a Gay He for Fahey.
I can only do one answer.
I want a Gay He for Fahey t-shirt.
Okay.
You're gonna make it.
Once I see you have purchased,
Cliff Boop is buying a Gay He for Fahey shirt.
Okay.
Chris is not in the chat right now, but he's gonna buy a Gay He for Fahey.
Once I see you, so if you guys really make him. Go buy it.
All right. There's a lot of people in this chat that'll be rocking Gay He for Fahey.
I'm not putting our logo.
Well, the logo can go on the back, but it's just like you get that
makes
shot.
The shirts cost more. You really don't want me doing that.
Okay. Well, you just get the shot of him, Gay He for Fahey. You need him. Maybe the psycho shot where he's covering his dick with the lamp. Everybody's confused if you're just tuning into this show what Gay He for Fahey is, but
I'm fucking confused. What the fuck are you talking about, brother?
That's a thing over several podcasts now.
Well, I don't watch any of them, so
Slasher Home Videos, Gay He for Fahey, Slaughterport's Gay He for Fahey. Everybody's Gay He for Fahey.
I only am during Psycho 3. Other than that,
there you go. Well, that'll probably be the image we'll use for the shirt. So.
Well, now it is. Well, now it's done.
I'm going to figure out his agent so we can just send him a shirt in the mail and he'll look really confused. But there you go. There you go.
I was going to tell you something and it escaped my brain. Oh,
Pride Month. It's just going to be all Gay He for Fahey shirts all over YouTube.
Kruger, are we still doing our streaming gimmick Friday?
No, remember? We canceled it because Pugs can't be there.
I didn't know we did. Okay.
We did. Remember, you and I said we said we'll just do it another time because Pugs won't be there. So
For the Friday the 13th?
yeah,
Okay.
he's not gonna. He told us he won't make it. So
Okay.
well,
Well, Flesh Wound Gaming. Anyways, be sure to join it. And Friday night, Friday the 13th, catch me on Region 3 Season 3 channel. If you haven't dropped any questions for the mail segment, do that on the last video. And there are some surprises. I know there's some debuts that are going to happen, I think, on this Friday the 13th episode. And Lauren did see Exorcist. So if you think I was mean, I'm suspecting that's going to get interesting. So check that out.
All right. Is that you wrapping, or you just stopped talking?
We're about at the 3-hour mark. Unless the chat has some questions, we can give it a few more minutes if you.
No, I just didn't know what you were doing. You threw me off. Okay, well, I got a question for Kruger. Are you excited for Friday, Kruger?
Oh, Never Hike Alone, Part 2.
No, that wasn't it. Are you excited for the other thing Friday that you'll be enjoying while watching it?
Oh, the Ghost Whopper, motherfucker! Oh, dude. So let me tell you what my Friday the 13th entails. Me and my girlfriend, we're gonna go to a pumpkin patch. We're gonna grab some motherfucking pumpkins. We're gonna go to the fucking goddamn Spirit. We're gonna get our Chucky and Tiffany costumes, and then we're gonna go fucking buy some Ghost Whoppers. Break out that motherfucking Scream Factory Friday the 13th set and watch fucking Friday the 13th movies all fucking day.
You're gonna watch 5?
We'll see.
It's
a touchy subject, sir.
I didn't. Yeah, my bad.
1 through 4, probably.
Yeah,
yeah. So I'm psyched, dude. Friday the 13th is gonna be rad as fuck. I'm hoping the Chucky costume fits me. I'm like really, really nervous about it. I have to get 2XL plus size. The waist says it should be okay, but we'll see. Hopefully, I don't rip out of it when I fucking try it on.
Just buy the mask, find a striped shirt, and go buy some fucking overalls. Done.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm doing the makeup instead.
Okay, there you go. Just need the shirt and the fucking.
Well, here's the gimmick. So they have a 2XL, right? And like the waist is like right about my waist. But my problem is my chest is so fucking big. Right. So like I don't know if my chest will fit into this thing. Hopefully my titties will fucking suck into it and we'll be all right. But at the end of the day, we'll fucking see what happens. You'll see pictures though. Me and my girlfriend are doing Chucky and Tiffany, and we're gonna try to go win a Halloween costume contest because they're doing Rocky Horror Picture Show the 28th at my local art house. So fingers crossed, her and I look badass enough to fucking win the contest. I think it's like $100. So if I get that shit, motherfucker, I'm gonna go on a Best Buy shopping spree because I haven't bought shit in forever.
Have you run into Beyond the Void anywhere?
No, so he lives a few hours down, in Mesa area. He lives where I used to live, but yeah, no, him and I talk though. He's a cool cat. So if you guys haven't followed Beyond the Void horror podcast, check him out. He puts some good reviews out, and he's a good dude. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I did Rocky Horror a few months ago. It's the whole shit where they do like the I don't know what the hell they call it, but when they act it out,
casting.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that, especially considering I'm gonna have to go and fucking wrestle on my goddamn Halloween. I'm so like, I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I do not want to wrestle on fucking Halloween at fucking all. But
it's a big show,
it's not your first time though, is it?
It is my first time.
You weren't at the so you weren't at the 2016 Hellbound then?
No, I was.
So then you're the one that was on Halloween.
Okay, so maybe I was there too.
Never
I didn't have anybody to spend it with, so fuck, dude. That was just.
I remember very specifically. I don't know if you do, like, because we still had Halloween because I had like my kid. So like we had to like jump in the car and fucking drive there. We literally got up at like right when the bell was about to ring, and did not know because they had like planned a fucking spot for us. So Tony's like telling us real quick, and I'm like, okay,
Oh, for the hitters.
yeah. But yeah, we made it. Did fucking
2016. What the fuck was I doing? Was that the body bag match with Insaniac when he threw Danny on me?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Makes sense.
But alrighty.
Amazing UEW booking. Go pile drive fucking Danny for the 5th time.
Should have did that when you saw him automatically in the crowd.
Right.
That would have been fucking awesome.
I may hit up Netherworld. That's like the one haunt that I might hit up this year. Yeah, I've been slacking on haunts though. I
got haunt on Saturday, and I got haunt next Saturday too. I'm doing all the ones locally for me. But next year, me and my chick, we've already talked about it. We're gonna fucking start shelling away money for Halloween Horror Nights. We just need, like, the problem with Halloween Horror Nights is you can't plan that fucking far in advance because they don't tell you the goddamn dates. So
well, I'm planning to get back down there for Knots in particular in October. So we will have to. I mean, obviously we got a long time, but we'll have to.
Yeah, maybe we'll actually coordinate it.
Yeah,
right,
do that.
So I can see and beat the shit out of you for after all these years of fucking aggravation. I'm gonna finally fucking get my revenge.
Suddenly he's gonna have car trouble now.
It's plain trouble.
All right.
No, dude, you're gonna see Kruger. What's up?
Out.
Fucking duck under double fucking full Nelson suplex real quick.
Damn, that's violent and
but
it'll make a goddamn great YouTube video though.
Well,
you see Dan getting curb. It's like a curb stomp, but it's like a suplex on the curb.
How does that work? I'm trying to figure out the mechanics of that.
Fucking under full Nelson suplex, boom! Your head hits the curb.
Okay, but a curb stomp, you have to have the foot in the back of the head and driving it.
Oh no, I'll do it after. Like you'll be sitting there, and I'll fucking come in and Goomba stomp you real quick, like fucking I'm in Mario.
Jesus Christ, violent, and I'm such a pleasant person. I don't deserve this kind of like threats. Damn. Anyways,
Todd has nothing to say. So I don't know what to say.
Yeah. So, anyways, great seeing everybody. Melissa, good seeing you again in the chat. We'll have to have you back on soon. And everybody, if nothing else, go see When Evil Lurks. You got some good today, you got some bad today, but go see When Evil Lurks.
Yeah.
It's the real fucking deal. And if you can't see it now, because I don't know, maybe there is no more theatrical screenings. October 27th. Okay, then definitely see it in the theater because it's worth it.
It's winding down though, so you probably got through this.
Yeah,
probably till Wednesday.
I have to figure out if I'm going to see On Fire.
If sold you can me. Make it happen.
Yeah.
As long, hey, who knows? It may come out on VOD tomorrow.
You sold me when you said a character
coming out the 25th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You sold me when you said some character looks up at the sky and just goes, "Fuck you, fire."
It's up at the fire. Yeah, 5 stars.
Okay.
That alone. After he said the line in the theater, I audibly said 5 stars.
There you go.
The one other
you got another Nick Cage movie. There's like a Nick Cage movie in theaters.
Dude, there's a Western.
Weeks.
Did the Nick Cage Western come out yet?
The 20th.
Oh, wait, is there another one?
Yeah, new one, Western 20th.
Yes, something Butcher something.
Is it related to the other one?
I don't know. It's about him killing Buffalo. He looks like he's going full Cage. I'm so in.
He's got that A24 movie where everybody sees him in their dreams too.
Yeah, and he has a fucking Freddy Krueger glove in one of the dreams. I'm so in.
Yeah. Nick Cage now, I mean, like, Jesus Christ, like, he's gonna have like 10 movies at the theater at the same time.
And you know what? I will see every the retirement plan, a great direct-to-video movie on the big screen.
All right, guys. Talking haunts in the chat. Definitely get out to haunts if you can. I wish I had more haunt buddies locally, but I'm gonna try and make it to Netherworld. We'll see if it happens. All right, guys. On that note, good night. We'll see you back here next week. Keep enjoying your Halloween season.
All right. Good evening and fucking H2O.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.